What is up, YouTube? My Cowboys family here, bringing you guys the latest update on our very own Dallas Cowboys. And of course, as always, thank you so much for joining us here tonight, kicking off a brand new week here at My Cowboys Family. So take a second, hit like, subscribe, hit that notification bell, follow us on all social media at My Cowboys Family, and hop in the Discord. Link for that's in the description box down below.
You know, usually we would probably call something like tonight a Cowboy Quickie. So kicking off a new week, though, a lot of shout-outs, some people in the lead already on the boards, and a lot more to talk about, you know, to hear from you guys as well about the few things that need to be discussed here. We discussed a lot yesterday about, you know, coming up with ways to maybe think about how this team can overcome some of their lack of, what was it?
Progression, momentum.
No, we literally talked about it yesterday. The lack
accountability
for this front office, for this coaching staff, for the players. So, you know, we got a lot of the major stuff out the way, as well as celebrating 30,000 plus subscribers. So thank you guys again for that. The family coming through. Appreciate all of you. From the first 5, 6, 10 of you that we had here subscribed, now we're at 30,200 plus, on the road to 30,300. Let's keep it rolling. Family growing. And speaking of family, let's shout out those that rep the boards here on a brand new week on My Cowboys Family. We had a lot of representation from SnugX last week, but maybe this week, some new names on the board. Check it out. The sponsor of the week.
Pretty familiar to most of us around these parts. Thank you very much to Mark Hovsepian.
Yes.
A big mahalo to him as the sponsor of the week.
Remember, he has the all-time record, 15-week streak as the sponsor of the week. I think that was last year. So maybe he's starting a new streak. We'll see. Much love to Mark. You can also see another man who runs the boards here when it comes to streaks. The all-time streak of 20 in a row as a Cash App King. He's starting over as the brand new King of the Cash App here, Mr. Jason Renfro. Much love to him. 20 weeks as the Cash App King in the past. That also happened like a year and a half ago. So much love to Jason. That was 5 months. So he's got this his first week here, right? So he's starting off a new week as well as Mark, repping those boards. We got Big D, 48 points. It's a little under the halfway point there for Big D, repping that Stream Boss. And when it comes to the gifting portion of things, gifting membership specifically, much love to the man representing that star in enemy territory, JD from DC, baby. Yes.
Thank you, of course, to everybody representing on all the boards. Appreciate you all.
Now, as far as the new leaders this week, again, this is the first, the first stream of the week, but we had some MCF, after darkish on other channels, kind of hanging out and people dropping the love through there, and also when we're not live. So remember, there's some new leaders already. Although when it comes to the gifting board, the membership gifting board, there is nobody on that board right now. It's kicking off a new week. It's kind of expected. When you look at the Cash App side, we had some drops, guys. Some drops from people like McLovin. Yes, he dropped 10 in the Cash App. Much love to McLovin, right? Who said family, dropping the $10. And then you have a couple more drops here. You had Big D. You see him as a Stream Boss there, 40 points. But he also dropped a $20 thanks drop there for our last video. And he said, damn, MCF, I must have passed out from Puffy.
No.
Oh, yeah, Puff pass. Go Cowboys. Much love to Big D on that side of things. And then he's in second place on the board. McLovin's in third. Big D's in second. But in first place is the Cash App leader and the overall board leader. I think you all know her. It's Gloria.
Oh.
Gloria in the house. She dropped 3 $10 hollers yesterday for some shottage. So appreciate you as well, Gloria, who is currently got the 30 on it, right? On the overall and the Cash App side. Much love to Gloria on all sides of the boards with the lead. And then, of course, as I said, there's the thanks button, super chat, right? We have the membership. You jumping into that, you can do that. You can drop the thanks like Big D did. There's 4 other ways of challenging, Jason Renfro for the top spot or Gloria for the lead on the Cash App board. How can they rep that Cash App side of things?
Well, you have the Cash App money sign, My Cowboys Family, the Venmo at My-Cowboys-Family, the regular PayPal link, and last but not least, that Streamlabs link lets your comment show up on screen just like a super chat.
Yes. And, of course, the nightly shout-outs for the star level membership. Baby, why don't we rep them out right now? Who's in that star level and over everything level?
Thank you to Skeptical Fan, Jason Renfro, Lincoln Kane, Mary Alvarez, Andy Potched, Marissa Sparkle, Dwayne Broussard, and The Lunatic.
Yeah, and I got to also shout out everybody in those, and we just shouted out anybody who wants to jump in there. From the navy blue, the silver, star, and over everything levels, they get a very special monthly jersey raffle this weekend. Saturday, Sunday, we're going to be dropping this raffle for the month of January. And a lucky star level, over everything level member will win a sewn and stitch jersey. You don't have to go with the new school, guys. I understand if you don't. Trust me.
Old school or new school.
Right. Hall of Fame, sewn and stitch, different styles and sizes. You know the deal. And Mike Aldana in the house. Now part of the membership.
That's
in the
right.
navy blue crew.
Thanks
Gifted
to the man
that.
Jason Renfro.
Yes, from Jason
Sharing
Renfro.
the love there.
Who now is the leader. He's repping, not just the lead in the Cash App, but he's not the lead in the Cash App. He's the king of the Cash App, but he's now leading the gifting membership side of things. Trying to go for JD from DC's spot. Whoa. Matt Batten now in the membership. Congrats to him. And the Matt Maters 97. Sounds like we got a multiple gifted membership situation here, baby.
Yes, we did, because JD from DC came through and said, hold up.
Damn.
Wait a minute. Let me put some gifting in it. Oh, thank you so much, and congrats too. Yeah, I just...
5 on it, I think. Yeah, I missed it.
You didn't give me the chance to...
I know. I'm sorry. Dropping the 5 on it, dropping the J-Lou 2. Mark Hopesepian, much love to you. We'll get to all the comments in a minute.
Yes, thank you, JD from DC, with the 5 gifted memberships to Justin D, Matt Batten, Fuego, Talk to Sully, and Mater 97, and Mark Hopesepian kicking things off on the official Super Chat side of things here. With the $2 holler saying, Jerry Jones keeps everything, which means all is good. Clowns.
Clown show, I'm telling you. And hey, we got that Dolphin fan. Whoa, Talk Cowboys. We got some more family members in the membership here in the Navy Blue crew. I'm assuming we got 5 more on it.
Yes, it is. JD from DC said,
damn.
More gifting.
Man, so JD got that, membership crown last week, took it back from Skeptical Fan. Now he's got a lead. It's a 10-1 lead right now in the first quarter, early in the first quarter here for the week.
Easy way to drop the love and show and share the love with the MCF family here. Congrats to Vanilla Dice Baby.
I love that.
The Hood Patriot, that Dolphin fan, Demetrius Alexander, and Talk Cowboys.
Hey, much love to you guys.
Thank you again, JD from DC.
Can't ask,
Thank you again,
guys.
Jason. Thank you again, Mark.
Yes, all you guys dropping the love here. Big D, pre-stream, Gloria, McLovin. Thank you all for just, it's a family thing, because some of you guys aren't even Cowboy fans. So extra special love. But again, the main droppers here, especially the family drops here when it comes to Jason Renfro, JD from DC, Big D. Thank you guys for repping that star over everything with us. Like Jason Renfro in the star level membership. Yeah. He's one of those guys that will be up for the raffle here, as I said, this weekend, if you're in the star level, over everything level membership. But yes, much extra special. I'm going to update the boards, baby. It's time to update this thing because we got new leaders. Like JD from DC, he's just became the overall leader and the gifting leader currently. So I'm gonna adjust some things up there.
There's some shout outs in the chat I gotta give, and then of course
who's in the house, and let's get rolling on a Cowboy quickie. But we're calling it a chat because we talk sometimes. We just keep going. So thank you all. Hit the like, subscribe, notification bell, and who's in the house? Talk some Cowboy football here.
We have Fuego bringing the heat. Of course, JD from DC, much love. Jason Renfro in the house. Bruce got the toxic juice. Yes, the extra clowny behavior. Dirty South MVP, what's up? You have... Let me see. I think I shouted it out, but just in case, Fuego. Of course, Bruce got the toxic juice. Much love. Mike Aldana in the house. Hold back a little bit. GM saying Diggs is going to join us.
We'll discuss. Stay tuned.
You got some money buried in your backyard we don't know about?
Stay tuned.
Oh, just kidding. But Thomas Garrett, the superior Garrett. Of course, a big mahalo to Mark Hopesepian.
Yeah.
We have Stephen White in the house. What's up? Kenneth Lott. Hello, what's up? Thanks for rolling through here.
I appreciate
Davis,
his 2 cents on things.
Representing, of course. Let me see. Juan Carlos in the house. Much love. Elazar Leos. Hello and hi. Double R. Salute to you.
Yeah.
Freedom First was not first.
Nope.
We're still here.
Not today.
Let's see. Devontae Alvarez. What's up? We have Jason Renfro. Of course, I think I shouted you out, but just in case. And Mary Alvarez also coming through here. Much love, West Coast style.
Mary in the house. Hey, the board right now, JD from DC in first place. and also, of course, the gifting leader. Much love to him. Jason Renfro's second on the gifting board as well. He's, again, you look at the overall board, JD from DC in first place, Gloria in second, Big D in third, Muck Lovett in fourth, Jason Renfro currently in fifth, Marco Seppian in sixth, and hey, don't forget Marco Seppian, sponsor of the week. Don't forget Jason Renfro, Cash App King, repping these boards. And don't forget JD from DC. He's also repping these boards. Appreciate all you guys here dropping in, dropping love, dropping your knowledge on our Cowboys. Hey, anybody else maybe before we roll into this thing? Because I'm ready to roll.
Darren Posey, what's up? Hey, have a safe road trip back.
Yeah, for sure.
Matt Batten, hello and hi. By the way, drop them if you got them, guys. Yeah,
the emoji's still functioning here. If you're in Navy Blue, any level, you're in this thing. You got these emojis available to you, and there's a lot of different... We're going to be switching them up throughout the offseason. Trust us, there's a lot of things to always discuss that change. And so a week here, a week there, a month there, here and there, we might have certain emojis up representing different Cowboy topics.
Yeah, Bobby Garrett, what's up? And then real quick, I did want to address Kenneth Lott. Yeah, obviously there's a few different ways the Cowboys can address some of that situation, but it's hard to see them moving on from Parsons, and it's also hard to see them moving on from Trey Lance at this point in time. You know what I mean?
I didn't see what he said. I know.
No. Just he had asked something earlier.
Yeah, I know.
Possible moves.
Yeah, I know that he's a huge fan of Dak Prescott, as we all are. And again, I hope that we can get a Super Bowl with Dak Prescott. But I'm not. I got to be honest with Mr. Kenneth Lott. It's the star. The star is over Dak Prescott. So if we can win a Super Bowl without Dak Prescott, I'm cool with that. If we can win a Super Bowl without Micah Parsons, I'm cool with that. You feel me? We can win a Super Bowl without Jerry Jones. I'm cool with that. So I'm just saying, we could like our favorite players, but it's still the star over the player, the star over everything. At least for us here at MCF. Much love, though. I love the discourse back and forth with Mr. Ken Lott. And, of course, we got Mr. Jason Renfro continuing making his presence known here with $1 64-cent holler here in the Super Chat. What did he say, baby?
He said, "Go Cowboys."
Oh, hell yeah.
You know it.
You know it.
Thank you so much. Appreciate you as always.
And we're caught up now with everybody?
Yes.
All the thoughts and comments as we roll here. Traveling Fools, right? A Dolphin fan in the house. So, actually, we got like 3 Dolphin fans in the house right now. It's incredible. Any other last comments? Maybe I wanted to update one last thing here on my side, but...
No, just let me kind of roll back a little bit here. Let me see. By the way, Bruce said, I would bring in all of the Diggs. Get Stefon and Quandre, the defensive lineman, too.
Go for it.
So, honestly, at this point, you're only allowed to have, like, 3 last names if you're on the Dallas Cowboys, and it's going to end up being, like, Smith and Diggs are going to be 2 of the 3. So,
it's already Smith. And half our offensive line is a Tyler. Is a T name or Smith last name.
Oh, man.
But I'm with, listen, the Diggs obviously have some real talent, so I wouldn't be mad about it. But I have to bring it up today, and you'll see why.
I think, look, in
an
ideal world, the Diggs brother duo, would somehow be together in Big D. You get what I'm trying to say? Like, in a perfect world, we could somehow make that happen. Yeah. But since we don't live in a perfect world, and we also have a salary cap and contractual obligations and all that stuff,
I'm going to talk about it.
It does not make Stefon Diggs coming to Dallas any kind of even close to viable possibility. Yeah. Just
we're going to discuss it. Listen.
As nice as it would be.
The Dak Prescott situation, other contract situations. We discussed that this whole offseason. But if you look at the Dak Prescott thing, which is tonight, is really, as we clear a couple quick subjects, dive into the Cowboy stuff. But really it's going to be the big part of this. I hope Ken Lott is in here with us, Kenneth, because we're going to discuss the Dak options. All right, the real Dak options, not just trade Dak. That's stupid. That's not happening. But we can talk about all the options in a realistic way. People have to accept it or live in a delusion. A lot of these fans are like, get rid of Dak. No, you just can't get rid of Dak. So that's just stupid. He just had not only can you not get rid of him because of contractual stuff, but you also can't get rid of him. Should you get rid of a guy who's a top 5 quarterback in the NFL? I mean, some people say maybe yes, but I'm saying that's what we discussed. But think about that. The guy is not just like the 15th quarterback, the 20th quarterback of the NFL every year. This guy's a top 10 every year. And this year, easily top 5 quarterbacks. Anyways, I think it's time to get rolling, baby. Don't you think?
Yeah.
When it comes to the news, info, and updates. And let's go with the NFL stuff first here. There's a good chance, by the way, when it comes to rule changes, that the touchback rule for fumbling through the back of the through the side of the end zone, that rule will be changed this offseason. That's the belief now. All of a sudden, after the KC fumble yesterday through the back of the end zone, through the side, couldn't cross the line. Ball goes out the end zone, whether it's the sideline, the back of the end zone, doesn't matter. And then it goes to a touchback to the other team.
It feels like that situation in particular has happened quite a few times.
Yeah.
In more visible, high-profile games or situations.
It happened to CeeDee Lamb.
It happened to us.
Yeah, it happened to CeeDee Lamb in the Lions game. So a lot of people have been complaining about that. I don't really think it's that big of a deal. I think it's a harsh penalty for a reason. You're not supposed to. It limits you from taking a bigger risk, since you can be jumping right into the end zone there, and if you're just willy-nilly with the ball, it's going to go to the back of the end zone. It's going to get out of bounds, through the pylon, and then it goes to the 20 for the other team. It's a harsh penalty, but it is. It makes you think about taking that extra risk to extend the ball over the line. So I like it personally, but the momentum behind the NFL correcting it is high right now. So that penalty is being considered by many people as being too harsh of a penalty. Or as losing the ball beyond the pylon after you drive down the field. I understand, but I also understand the other side, the original side, keeping it that way. Either way, the NFL probably change it, and we got to all get used to the changes if they make the changes. I might not like it, but I'll live. It'll be all right. It'll be less big issue. There'll be more chances on the goal line trying to jump over and break the plane. So when you look at the playoffs now, let's go playoffs. We're going to go playoffs real quick for a second. When it comes to a couple quick little news and notes, interesting things I always like to bring up when it comes to NFL news. AFC Championship, all right? It's going to be between the Chiefs and the Chiefs at the Baltimore Ravens. The Kansas City Chiefs at the Ravens. It's going to be a Jason Renfro dollar holler dropper right there. Much love to Jason with another one on it. And you know what the $1 hollers bring. $1 hollers equals Go Cowboys. Hell yeah. So again, he had $1.64 earlier. Dollar holler here on top with a gifted membership. Appreciate you, Jason Ram, for racking it up. And I'll fix the board here, Storm. I promise. I'll fix that board. I see Bruce got the toxic juice in the house. Bobby Garrett here.
Now
Colleen K.
is asking, what will the rule change be then? Get rid of it altogether?
No.
Other teams get the ball at the one? What was it before?
Well, the current rule, there was never, I don't remember it being before. The rule has always been, you fumble that ball through the back of the end zone, out to the pylon, and it goes out of bounds. It's a touchback to the 20 for the other team, for the opposing team. It's like a turnover. But when it comes to the rule change...
Why is it such a problem now if it's always been that way?
I don't know. People are bitching about it. People become soft. I don't know. People don't like the penalty. It's been an annoying nuisance, I guess, for some time. But everyone just dealt with it. Now recently it's been like, nah, it's just too harsh. It's now, because like you said, it's happening. You said this. High-profile situations. Maybe people are taking more notice to it, and now the change is going to come to. Who knows? But the point is, that's going to be a change. I think the penalty will be something like if you fumble the ball at the back of the end zone like this, it goes to a pylon and gets out of bounds. Instead of a touchback for the other team, I think it goes back to the 20. Like let's say red zone would be, and you lose down or something like this. So it would be something serious, but you still keep possession is the key. If you do that, though, it's going to be hard to score a touchdown, probably. If it's second down and goal on the 1 and you fumble through the back of the end zone like that, then it'll go back to the 20. It's an example. I don't know if it's going to be this way. We'll go to the 20, and now it's third down and 20. Third and goal from the 20. You know what I'm saying? So that's a major kind of loss right there, but it's not as bad as losing complete possession, I guess. You still keep 3 points on the board, basically, Just saying. And, hey, if you're really good offense and get in there, you can still score touchdowns. It's going to make it a lot harder, though. I don't know. That seems okay to me. Just don't make it like you get the ball on the 1 again and where the fumble happened. That would seem silly. That would seem real weak.
I agree.
To be a penalty. It's got to be some kind of penalty.
I was just kind of confused because for some reason, the way you were phrasing that made it seem like I was doing something previously and now we've been doing this and now it's been that way the whole time. Okay,
anybody who knows it, who's been around, maybe of course knows the NFL rules longer than I do. Let me know if you guys do know what they used to do before this, because I think when I was a little kid, that was the rule. You fumble through the end zone.
Bruce is saying, I'll never forget the index card game against the Raiders. Carr fumbled through the end zone and we won. Yeah,
well, in that game, right? In that game, the card was a first down thing. But yeah, early, you saw when he stretched over the line to try to get in, Jeff Heath hit him. Remember? Knocked that ball loose and went to the end zone. I called it live. I still have that video up, and I said, that's a touchback. We won the game.
I know.
And it would have been hard for them to win a game with a touchdown if they had gone back to the 20 and lost the down. But that solidified. We got the ball back on the 20, game over. Yep. Good catch there. Great catch. So, but let me know what they did before that. Yeah. Now, back to not the rules side, but the playoff side. The Kansas City Chiefs and the Baltimore Ravens playing each other. It's the first ever playoff matchup between former MVP quarterbacks who are both under 30 years old.
Oh.
Crazy little stat there. And another last crazy number here from Patrick Mahomes. He is currently now tied for 7th all-time with 13 playoff wins. He has as many wins as Brett Favre, Ben Roethlisberger, and Roger Staubach. And he has more than Aaron Rodgers when it comes to playoff wins. So right now, Aaron Rodgers, he ain't shit compared to Patrick Mahomes. And then, again, if somehow the Chiefs win the Super Bowl, there's 4 left, and they're one of the 4, of course. But if they win the Super Bowl, he, as a quarterback, will be alone in 3rd place as the most winningest quarterback in history. Only behind Tom Brady and Joe Montana. Crazy numbers there. Right now, if he gets that 3, again, 3 Super Bowls. I think Troy Aikman has 3, right? So, but it's just the playoff wins is where nobody really even can compare with him right now. I'm saying he's 7th all time in playoff wins. He's going to be, probably alone in 3rd, or with guys like Brady and Montana. So I think Aikman is in there too, though. But all right, either way, that's just the update on the Mahomes situation, and of course that game. Lions at Niners, no real info on that right now that I care about thinking about discuss. I just no real information from there. Just hope the Lions beat the Niners. I'll leave it there.
And Pioneer, what Jason said is right. It's not a penalty. It's just a turnover. Yeah,
it's not a penalty nowadays, right? If that happened, if they change the rule, it might turn it into a penalty type situation where you go back to the 20 or you lose 15 yards from the. Who knows? I don't know. If it goes back to the end zone, you're going to lose the yardage. You should touch it back, not to your own 20. That's an 80-yard loss.
Exactly.
But you should go back to the 20, like right in the red zone area, maybe the 25. Just make it real hard to score on that drive if you fuck up like that. And you keep possession. That would be, I guess, the most, I don't know, in my old school mind, most fair. I don't know. Anyways, now, again, Niners, Lions. The only thing coming out from that game, and it's kind of interesting, I guess, and you can see this a lot in the future, and when it comes to playoff games and signing guys, like the Ravens signed Dalvin Cook, and so today, 3-time Pro Bowl tight end Zach Ertz signed with the Detroit Lions, and again, he's a free agent. He's starting out on the practice squad with the Lions, with plans to be elevated for this NFC Championship game against the Niners, which would be a kind of a little boost for them at the tight end position for the final stretch run here in the championship game. The reason why they're doing this is because the Detroit Lions lost their number 2 tight end, Brock Wright. He had a forearm injury on Sunday, and now adding Zach Ertz, he reunites with former tight end coach from Arizona, from the Cardinals, Steve Hyden, and again, should be able to kind of get caught up with the game plan. A lot quicker than he usually would. So, with not knowing your tight end or your offense, a former coach he just played with there. Now, Michigan. Their Michigan head coach, Jim Harbaugh. We know he met with a couple different teams. He's expected to meet a second time this week with the Los Angeles Chargers about their head coaching job. Been pinpointing him for that. From that, I know we talked about Dan Quinn possibly being there, but he's more Seattle, I guess now. Jim Harbaugh seems to be fitting into the Chargers there with Belichick to the Falcons. These are just the way things seem to be trickling down. You got Howie Roseman. What is he going to do in Philly there, right? Howie Roseman, or I guess Jeff Lurie, but Howie Roseman is a GM. Him and Nick Sirianni, current head coach of the Eagles, they will be holding an end-of-the-season press conference together on Wednesday. What does this mean? This means that Sirianni is staying.
Yeah.
At least one more year.
You kind of called
end
it
of the
after
season.
The firing of the defensive coordinator.
Yep.
Seems very likely Sirianni will keep
stay.
his job another year.
Yeah, remember, if these coaches are doing end of the season interviews like McCarthy did, press conferences like we did, the day before we did the press, that end of the season press conference, the Cowboys announced they're going to keep McCarthy on for the rest of the length of his contract. So that, and then the next day he had the end of the season kind of press conference, right? Which you're not going to do that if you're getting fired. So with Nick Sirianni appearing tomorrow with Howie Roseman, it's not a firing thing. It's an end of the season press conference, which means he's going to be here at least one more year. So that's good. I like that. I personally am happy. Fuck Sirianni, and I want him with Philadelphia because I don't think he's that great. But here's
one of the reasons I really like him still being with Philly is just because it's been kind of shown. If we get you off your game or get under your skin or whatever, they can collapse.
Boom.
You're easy to knock down.
Yeah. So again, all signs continue to point to Sirianni returning. I'm sure it'll be official. On Wednesday when they do this press conference, it'll be official that Sirianni will be there, and what the plans are going forward. But you said it earlier. They got rid of Desai, who was their defensive coordinator.
Yeah.
Then Matt Patricia was there for the last month just to help out with the play calling. He's going to pursue other jobs as defensive coordinator in the NFL. So guess who's stepping in there as an interviewing for the defensive coordinator job for the Eagles? Former Washington Commander head coach Ron Rivera.
I have to admit, when I saw this,
no wonder he's crying.
As much sense as it made, it still caught me a little bit of what the fuck? You know what I mean? But it does actually make a lot of sense from a, Ron Rivera perspective.
You know what it feels like to me? You know what it feels like to me? It feels like I don't say Mike because even Sirianni is not Mike McCarthy, but it feels like Sirianni has his defensive coordinator who's like Dan Quinn, who's like a head coach, right? A former head coach, a defensive specialist, and that's what Ron Rivera is here. And he's like he's going to take over for the Eagles. If Ron Rivera gets hired as defensive coordinator after Nick Sirianni gets fired after next year.
Definitely one of those weird, constantly looking over your shoulder type of moments.
Yeah, it's almost like adding motivation for old crying Sirianni here. But the thing also, the last time Ron Rivera was a defensive coach, a defensive coordinator was 2010. It's not as a head coach now, as a defensive coordinator. 2010 with the at the time San Diego Chargers. Which, by the way, he at the time in 2010, the Chargers, under his direction as defensive coordinator, led the NFL as the best defense that year. Of course, it's the players and it's the coaching. So we'll see if that makes a difference for the Eagles. They got they had some good defensive pieces. But now with Ron Rivera, if he gets hired, remember guys, he just got interviewed, not hired. So we'll see what happens with that. But that's where the Eagles are headed. You can see the direction they're heading. It's like Sirianni's staying, but we're gonna have Ron Rivera breathing down your back, challenging you for that fucking interim job if it has to be the interim job for Sirianni if he continues the streak of losing that he did to end the season.
By the way, not exactly the same, but it does remind me of the whole Jason Garrett Wade Phillips situation in the sense of hey, you got to go work. You have to work with the guy who's about to trying to take your job.
Yeah, the old guy was in danger of being taken over by the new guy. This situation is the new guy is getting in danger of taking over by the old guy.
The head coach has to work with the person who
might be taking
their job.
And that's bad for to me. It's great for us, but it's bad for the Eagles.
Take it easy. Have a great
Much
night.
love, Matt. For me, it's actually Ron Rivera is not the answer. I'm just telling you. And neither is Nick Sirianni. And the fact that they're considering Ron Rivera with Sirianni is fine for me. So cry, Eagles, cry. Fuck them. Now, what about our coaching situation? Now, we talked about all the coaching situations. We're gonna build up to the Dak thing in a minute. But baby, and again, I told you guys to be a quickie tonight. But what about Dan Quinn and his search right now? Situation. What's the update on DQ and his coaching head coaching future, right? Is he staying in Dallas? Well, the word is if you don't take a head coaching job, he will stay in Dallas. So the Tennessee Titans today are planning to bring in Cowboys defensive coordinator for a second interview for their head coaching job sometime this week. Quinn is the third candidate headed to round 2 with the Titans. So right now it's Dan Quinn, Panthers offensive coordinator Thomas Brown, and Bengals offensive coordinator Brian Callahan, who, by the way, today went over to the Titans and now is their head coach.
Yeah.
So, or I think he's their head coach, right, guys? Offensive coordinator. He's their head coach. So it's really now for the Titans. It's the Panthers offensive coordinator and the Cowboys defensive coordinator. That's what it comes down to. As far as I'm sorry, the Titans. Let me rephrase that. Since the Titans brought these guys in, we know the answer. I'm pretty sure it's already been settled. Check me if I'm wrong on that, guys, in the chat there. But I'm pretty sure Brian Callahan did get the job. So that means Dan Quinn is not part of that. Yeah, double check that for me, baby. Because that was kind of later in the day, and I saw it, and I kind of ignored it. because it was Tennessee. I'm like, whatever. But then I realized, oh shit, Dan Quinn is going for that job. So I think Dan Quinn now, even though he was one of the finalists with...
Yeah, they're finalizing a deal to make him so...
Callahan, right? So Callahan's the head coach.
It's still in the finalization stages.
So Callahan's the head coach. That means, guess what? Dan Quinn, he's not a choice for the Tennessee Titans anymore.
That's right.
He's still floating around. So who's left, right? We got the Commanders, who are also planning to bring in Dan Quinn for a second interview sometime this week. And we know the other team he's already slated for a second interview is at the Seattle Seahawks. So it was 3 teams, guys, today. 3 teams who had reportedly set up second head coaching interviews, but one of them is gone. Tennessee Titans, they closed theirs off now, signing Callahan. So that only leaves 2 teams now that really are looking at Dan Quinn in a second interview stage. That's not many. The names, again, those Chargers on here. There's no, some of these teams were like
very, very different from last year's... man, we can't keep people's hands off of Quinn type of situation.
And
right?
I think it would have been
5 head coaching.
It would have been a lot different too. It would have been a lot different if we had played if we had played better defense against the Packers. I think you would have seen 4 or 5, second interviews.
Everybody
would
have been blowing us up.
I'm just saying it would have been a lot more than now. Things are dropping off for Quinn. So my point is, right now you're down to the Washington Commanders, who are also looking at. I mean, of course, this is for their head coaching job for the Washington Commanders, but they just got rid of Ron Rivera, who's heading over to Philly. It looks like, right? He didn't sign anything yet, but Quinn got the Commanders with a second interview and the Seattle Seahawks, which to me, it's to me in my mind, it's almost like he's going to Seattle. We're gonna have to find someone to replace, Dan Quinn. So my point is this, all right? If there's a quickie here, if Dan Quinn is gone, if Dan Quinn has to, if Dan Quinn is signed, and again, I don't think Washington, for some reason, I just don't see him with Washington, but I can see him with Seattle. So let's assume if he doesn't go in either place, he's staying in Dallas. We know what happened. He's got to get better. We'll talk about that in the future in the offseason, right?
Yeah.
What he has to do or not do.
Well, we have a whole offseason.
He's got a lot of accountability he needs to step up for. But that's if he stays, right? What if he goes to the Seattle Seahawks and he's gone from Dallas? Again, we don't know who we're going to bring in or who we might bring in as an interview. Yeah. I think that Jerry Jones, though, 2 reasons. I think it's out of ease and a seamless transition if we bring in our own guy in-house, Joe Witt Jr. I don't know if Joe Witt's necessarily going to go with Dan Quinn to Seattle, and he might go with him to Seattle, but at the same time, I think in Dallas he knows the defense already. He knows Dan Quinn's scheme and thoughts, and he may be even more updated on things when it comes to making a little more adjustments. I don't know. We'll have to wait and see. But the point is, it seems like, you got to remember, it's not just a connection with Dan Quinn. He had a connection with Mike McCarthy. He got hired by McCarthy in Green Bay.
Yeah.
Eventually he found himself with Quinn, but, through the Falcons. But he's actually, his OG coach is Mike McCarthy. So Joe Witt Jr., if Quinn moves on and Joe Witt decides to stay with, he stays with McCarthy on that side of things over the Quinn side of things and takes over this defense that he knows, not a new Seattle defense, right? If he goes with Quinn, he won't know the Washington Commander defense. He won't know the Seattle Seahawks defense. So I think for his job situation, and still under a guy like McCarthy who may be gone next year, hey, that opens us maybe more of his say to the Cowboys team. Joe Witt Jr., I think his best bet would stay in Dallas. I think the Cowboys' easiest seamless transition would stay with a defensive coordinator like Joe Witt Jr. But again, like I've said, there's other guys out there that I do like, that are more experienced, that I think like guys like Wink Martindale. I think these guys are, again, I don't know if he's been signed already, but these are the guys that can definitely take an already good defense and elevate it. So a lot of different, we can stay with the same old with Joe Witt, and he can kind of, advance what we already got going. He knows best, or we can go with a different coordinator that can take our guys and maybe, get rid of some, bring in some new kind of guys, and then, make the most out of them, make the most out of what we have with a Wink Martindale compared to a Joe Witt Jr., who might stay more stagnant, right?
Thank you for summing it up, Anthony Rivera.
Oh, yeah. Welcome to the family.
You, of course, always.
Yes, appreciate you.
Go
Welcome
Cowboys.
to the family, and always rep that star for everything. Go Cowboys. So that was my little thought. Quick little thought. Any thoughts from you, baby? I know we talked about defensive coordinator options out there in the past. Joe Witt and others being options.
To me, the more mind-boggling part is, again, how quickly things can change here on the NFL side of things. Just saying. Because if you had told us at the beginning of the season last year that we would be able to keep Dan Quinn for another year and not move on from him,
We all would have loved that.
We all would have been very, very, very happy in that regard. So,
yeah. So what's the chat saying on this? Any comments on our defensive coordinator?
Of course. Darren Posey said, pure selfishness. Quinn holding Dallas hostage, and then all the big names get taken.
I don't know. I think it's the opposite way. I don't think anyone's holding them hot. I think the Cowboys alike. I think the front office likes that it's taken a while for Quinn to kind of figure out where he's going to go, because that gives the Cowboys a chance, not just to figure out their own side of things, but it gives the Cowboys a chance to kind of say, you know what, we don't have to look for it. We're not going to have time for a defensive coordinator search, because they're going to be gone by then. Yeah. So we just move up Joe Witt. That may be what they're doing, but that's a risk too if for some reason Joe Witt Jr. leaves with Dan Quinn. So, anyways.
So.
Good catch, though.
Yeah, Bruce said it. DQ stock went from sugar to shit with having almost 50 hung.
Yeah, almost 40. I mean, 48 was put up on him, so they almost hung 50 in a playoff game by the Packers. Yeah, that's not good.
Let me see. Rolling back here. Pioneer said McCarthy and Quinn are gone after next season, no matter what.
I mean, unless we win a Super Bowl, but you know what's funny? We said the same goddamn thing last year. At this time, we're like, well, next year, McCarthy got to take us to the conference championship or he's out of here. And Dan Quinn takes over. Now it's like, no, we don't want Dan Quinn taking over. We don't want McCarthy here because we got embarrassed in that first round, and yet they keep their jobs. They keep their spots. In fact, that takes me right to the next topic, baby, which is about McCarthy, And I think you have a little comment on him when it comes to McCarthy because Peter King, he has his Football Morning in America divisional edition. He released that today. Peter King is, of course, an analyst, and he did not hold back on Jerry Jones's decision to bring back Mike McCarthy to coach the Cowboys in 2024. And again, I think that, maybe you have a wrap-up on what he was saying, baby, but what did Peter King basically say about Mike McCarthy coming back and Jerry Jones saying, hey, come on down. We lost 48. We got blown out in this game. Poorly managed, team not ready. But come on down again. No heads got to roll. McCarthy, you're back. Exactly what we just talked about here. And you guys brought it up. Marco Seppian in the house, the sponsor of the week. Holy from Hawaii, ripping that star. Dropping that 5 on it. What did the man say?
He said, he's too hot and cold. He did well and then crashed in Atlanta. McCarthy is a joke, and losing a chance for a generational coach like Bill or Harbaugh will haunt us.
Listen, it haunted us when Bill Belichick was available in 96, right? Or 95. When Bill Belichick wanted to get hired by Jerry Jones, I think it was on a skiing trip. Belichick, I know he was at Cleveland, just got done getting fired from Cleveland, but man, there was an opportunity there. Missed opportunity. He used Bill Parcells to get a stadium.
Yes, and
Jerry Jones wants to be the fucking coach.
Believe this if you want to or not, and I fully admit there's no substance behind the statement I'm about to say, but a few of you guys were even chatting about this last night in the chat as well. So I know we're all kind of hearing the same things, but word on the street is that Jerry did pick up the phone and ask Bill Belichick, hey, what you doing, where you at? And Bill Belichick left Jerry on red, so to speak, and then thought about it and decided to tell him, actually, I don't want to play for your organization, Crazy Clown Show.
Oh, coach for it.
So,
right?
Coach, true, play. Sorry, I'm used to talking about players here. So, but basically, long story short, that yes, apparently, the Joneses, Jerry specifically, did reach out to Bill Belichick, try to make a gesture of like, hey, are you interested? And Bill Belichick, whether it's Belichick directly or through like, third party in-betweens where, people are obviously trying to see that interest, he made it very clear he has no interest in coming to Dallas and being part of our little circus here.
But see, that's the thing, though. Belichick, okay, maybe Belichick didn't want to...
Like
right, that was what Peter King said.
The reason I'm saying, that obviously influenced part of that decision. But yeah, he's saying that, in any other universe, bringing back a coach who just went 12-5 in the regular season and did all these things that McCarthy did, absolutely, dumb. Of course you would. But he's saying, in any other circumstance, of course you would. You wouldn't even think twice about it. But he brings up that glaring, not just lack of playoff success, But the fact that every time that McCarthy has brought our team to the playoffs, we've just absolutely fallen apart in the postseason.
Yeah.
Like,
one way or the other.
Fallen apart. So it is not like there's no way to justify that specific thing there.
Now, I mean, the thing is that even if Belichick, let's just assume, like Peter King kind of assuming that maybe Jerry Jones called, Belichick said, "Hell no, I'm not part of that clown show circus," and I could understand that, even though they're buddies off from football, right? They're still buddies. Stephen Jones is buddies with him. The thing is, you still have. It's not just Bill Belichick, right? I mean, I know Mark brought up Belichick, but it's not just Belichick. It's Mike Vrabel. It's Jim Harbaugh. It's a litany of coaches that are floating around that are better than Mike McCarthy. That's it. And it's about, I think, the ego of Jerry Jones and why he wants to keep him. So, yeah, Peter King blasted him and just basically said, very passive for a guy who's trying to win it all. The last, quote-unquote, 28 years trying to win it all, this guy, right? Can't do it. Jerry Jones cannot do it. And that's truly the fucking clown show. I mean, our little unfortunate picture we have to put up here all the time of these fucking fools, Steven and Jerry. It hurts. It hurts.
And again, the lack of aggressiveness on this Cowboy team is, again...
That's clown show. Yeah.
Very, very frustrating, though, because we know that the potential for something different is there.
Agree. I'm sure people are saying something in the chat about this. Quick comments or two about the Belichick, the basically people really going at McCarthy, the analysts, people that professionally know that, this is a poor move by the front office once again. Not a surprise to Cowboy fans, but
Darren Posey saying he is a circus by himself. He's damn near as old as Jerry. We wouldn't want him coaching here.
Belichick,
he wouldn't coach here long. Get the fuck out.
So you don't like the Belichick. I like the Belichick.
Belichick and Carroll can stay where they're at.
See, I'm not a big opposer of Belichick because he'll just get the job done. We don't like some of his things he's done. Get the job done. Win a Super Bowl, you'll like Bill Belichick.
Bad Intentions said Bill Belichick got more Super Bowl wins than the Cowboys franchise. Why would he come play for a team that's not serious about winning?
And hey, because of the money, because of the power, he won't get power in Dallas. We know that. So I hear you. I'm not saying he shouldn't, decline anything from the Cowboys. I'm not saying this should be a surprise. I'm just saying Jerry Jones, he's not even looking at any other options. If he did want Bill Belichick, it was quick. It wasn't anything he really pushed for. And of course, maybe was said no to, and doesn't care about looking for Mike Vrabel. Don't want to do any kind of coach, any other options. Just look at Mike Vrabel. Take a look at him. I'm not saying you should get him. Just look at him. The Jim Harbaugh. Take a look. See what he wants. Just check it out. But no. It's got to be his guy because he signed him for a 5-year contract. And if he lets him go earlier, it looks like a Jerry Jones failure. And that to me, that is the issue with this organization and this fucking front office guy named Jerry Jones, the owner of this damn team. Anyways.
So, all good. James Hurst said, Jerry wanted the Cowboys bigger than football. He has made it happen.
He did. He did that. We're always, not that I even want to get into this, but Stephen A. Smith today on Get Up or whatever the fuck show he's on, First Take, he just walks in the middle of it, kind of interrupting a discussion about playoffs or whatever, and saying how the Cowboys suck and the Cowboys this and the Cowboys that. They just can't keep our fucking names out of their mouths. And you know what? We all hate this shit. We don't want to see it. We don't want to hear it. I don't even listen to it because I don't care. Jerry Jones loves it. Jerry Jones loves Stephen A. Smith talking shit about the Cowboys because it keeps us in the rotation.
Even when we're losing, we're winning when it comes to Jerry.
For Jerry Jones. In his fucking crippled fucking mind. Yes. Even when we're losing, even when we're the embarrassment, he's still winning. Not us. Not the star. Jerry Jones is winning. And that's why I say fuck Jerry.
Now, SnugX said, saying Jerry doesn't want to win is as dumb as saying Dak doesn't want to win.
No. Hold on. No one said here. At least...
Jerry wants to win.
I didn't see the comments.
There's no denying that.
Jerry wants to win before he dies. He wants to win his way, Snug. That's the thing you got to remember.
It was a comment in the chat here.
Okay, somebody in the chat. Yeah, Jerry Jones, of course, wants to win. He wants to be, number one, though, competitive. Number two, get a win. Get the Super Bowl championship. That would be great. But he wants to be competitive. He wants to be in the limelight. And I'm just saying, no one here on our side said you don't want to win. But Jerry Jones... it wants to only win Jerry Jones's way, not not allowing another a GM to do the job, not allowing a coach to do the job and hands-off approach. No, it's got to be Jerry Jones' way. I'm not saying it's all on Jerry Jones. We talked about this yesterday, Snug. I don't know if you saw it, but we talked about it on our stream last night, and just really the accountability factor. It does start with Jerry, and it goes all the way down from Jerry to Steven to Will McClay, even to all the way down to to Mike McCarthy and Dan Quinn and other coaches that are not held accountable because the front office is not held accountable because Jerry Jones is not held accountable. Then he don't hold anybody accountable. When a player complains, they go right to Jerry Jones. They don't worry about Mike McCarthy. That's not holding the system accountable. And then the players, what are they accountable for? So it's a trickle-down theory. It's a trickle-down effect that starts with Jerry Jones. And it's not that he don't want to win. He got to win it. He's obsessed with winning it his way because Jimmy Johnson did it his way and won those 3 championships. It wasn't Jerry Jones. It was Jimmy Johnson's. If it weren't for Jimmy Johnson, we wouldn't have won any Super Bowls in the 90s. You hear me? We wouldn't have any without Jimmy Johnson. Jerry Jones could have been there. Jerry Jones made a great choice in putting Jimmy there and giving him the keys and being the GM the first 4 years there. And after that, or 5 years, after that, when Jerry took it away, that was the beginning of the end for the organization. Even though we won a Super Bowl, that's how strong Jimmy Johnson was, that his players and his scouts and his coaches still were able to overcome Jerry Jones and Barry Switzer and win a Super Bowl. That's how big it was. And Jerry Jones beginning of the end right there after that second Super Bowl.
By the way, Pioneer said, I've been screaming about McCarthy's terrible play calling for 3 years. Aaron Rodgers tried to warn us.
I know. And listen, he helped the Cowboy offense, McCarthy. He helped Dak Prescott. I can't take that away. I got to be honest. He definitely helped Dak. He helped the offense, but he still has issues with decision-making and guidance in the game, it seems. I don't know. I hear you. There's issues there. A lot of issues with old McCarthy.
Anyway, back to you, baby.
All right, so as we're moving closer to the Dak discussion, let's finish first talking about the Pro Football Writers All-NFL team. Today they put our list out. I think it's not how important it is. Who cares? It's just more awards at the end of the year. But I like to always bring up real quick some of the Cowboys that were on this list. Wide receivers, they only picked 2 of them, Tyreek Hill and CeeDee Lamb. At guard, you have 2 guards, Joe Thuney from the Chiefs, who got injured, by the way, for this next upcoming game, and Zach Martin from the Cowboys. You have, that's all for offense for the Cowboys, 2 offensive players. On defense, you got Micah Parsons, listed as an outside linebacker. Him and T.J. Watt from the Steelers are the 2, all the Pro Football Writers All NFL team. You also had at cornerback, DaRon Bland from the Cowboys there, along with Sauce Gardner from the Jets. So, again, 2 Cowboys on offense, 2 Cowboys on defense, even 1 on special teams. Yes, the kicker, Brandon Aubrey, the kicker of the year, let's be honest, right? So, congrats to him. When you look at guys, repeat selections like Micah Parsons, consecutive selections from this writers group from 2021, 22, and 23. So, all 3 years, Micah's been the outside linebacker of the year for this group here. Zach Martin as well, 3 straight years from that there. And don't think we had any repeat selections for the Cowboys outside of that with CeeDee Lamb, no repeat selection for him. And, of course, Aubrey's a rookie, and DaRon Bland, no repeat selection. So just, Micah and Zach Martin, repeat winners of this Pro Football Writers All NFL Team of 2023 awards. So I just wanted to bring that up there and shout them out real quick. Not that it matters. I don't give a fuck about this, Pro Bowl, or any of that. Or MVP. I care about Super Bowl, and that's gone this year. Now, let's get to the team here real quick. Some roster move stuff here. Some roster moving situation here. That practice squad today, actually, was it today? Yeah, today. Practice squad players, their contracts all expired today.
Okay.
So everybody in the practice squad gone, except for the guys that we offered futures to. We talked about that last week.
We talked about like Martavius Bryant. And
we added into the thing. But here's the thing, though. Some guys now who are now practice squad released can sign with any team. And on our team, one of the names that came up that's official is offensive lineman La'el Collins.
Oh.
So some people are saying, well, we should bring him back. Hopefully bring him back. A low-risk move that could pay off in the future if he's looking good, right?
As far as depth move type of thing you can do, I mean...
Low risk.
That's a type of, move that makes sense, everyone can live with. I'm just saying,
just sign him to the futures or something,
Yeah.
Not to the 53. L. Collins, I don't think he's ready yet to be like the backup guy yet, but we'll work there. But from Jane Slater said, keep an eye on Brock Hoffman, who's on the 53. But it's more than that. She said, keep an eye on Brock Hoffman, who's our center. She says she expects competition at center with Tyler Biadish's contract coming up. So whatever we do at center, it sounds like Brock Hoffman's an option, which goes back to the Jerry Jones mindset of blowing smoke up our ass. Brock Hoffman had a good game. He's a kind of an asshole type of guy, which I like. We all like. But is he really an undrafted guy? Is he really ready to take over a full 17 game? That's called the clown show. So even though he might compete for that spot, there's no way he should be starting at that spot. So maybe getting a rookie. We talked about one yesterday. Getting a rookie center in here. There's a couple good guys in here. Let that guy battle with Brock Hoffman. Brock Hoffman should stay as our backup. And remember, the quality of the battle, just because some other guy can beat out Brock Hoffman is not saying much. We've had this discussion before.
Yeah,
Mark Hovsepian in the house. Dropping that $5 holler. I know he understands what I'm talking about here. What did the man say if he dropped that 5 on it?
I'll say it again. Look at who we played. When we played teams with a good defense, we did nothing. Big yards versus poor teams is nothing to brag about, clown show. So
You know how I feel about that. We discussed that multiple times, Mark. I understand and I agree to an extent. Even the best quarterbacks cannot, destroy opposing shitty defenses, right?
Look, we can't deny that some of our stats, right, and some of how good we looked in this past season we just wrapped up, some of that was hyperinflated by the talent that we were facing, or really lack thereof. So, yes, you
Defense,
can't, it's, of course, when you're blowing a team out 42 points or something, that's going to skew your stats a tiny bit.
Yeah, and if they have a bad, again, the Eagles, good team for most of the year, great team most of the year, but a bad pass defense, we took them apart. Listen, all I'm trying to say is that there's some other teams out there that couldn't do the same things Dak and the offense did
I don't
against a shitty defense, right? Against shitty teams and shitty defenses. Why? So it's hard to do that. You got to give that credit there to Dak and the offense and McCarthy. You got to give him credit for doing it consistently. And we've been doing it consistently for fucking years. But consistently, we keep failing in the playoffs. Because then, when the shit hits the fan, the Cowboys don't know how to. They're not coached properly. They don't have the right mindset on this team. The culture is not right. There's no accountability. And I don't know, Mark, if you heard yesterday's stream, I'd say after this stream, go back and listen to it. I think you may agree with a lot of what I'm saying. A lot of the issues on this team, from top to bottom, from front office to coaches to players, it's no accountability on this team. And it starts at Jerry Jones at the top of the clown show, at the circus. So I hear you. Trust me, I understand what you're saying. Go Cowboys. I fixed the board, by the way. The board is now updated. Mark's jumping up this board here. I think he's in 4th place.
Oh, Mark does come through with another $5 holler. You know what he said here?
Let's talk about it.
Simple fact is, every aspect of this team is hyped. The backups, the many starters and coaches are all hyped. It hurts, but it's the truth. Until Jerry Jones sees this, we are fucked.
First of all, Jerry Jones ain't never going to see it, Mark. So I think we both got to accept that unfortunate ending. That's what I'm expecting. He'll never see it. He never wants to see it. But I agree 100%. This is exactly what we're talking about with Brock Hoffman. Already we're hearing this. Jane Slater is saying this. Why? Because she's in tune. She's getting the word from Jerry Jones.
Exactly.
We know she's very close to Jerry when it comes to getting her information. So she's getting it from Jerry Jones. Watch out for old Brock Hoffman. Because Brock Hoffman's an undrafted guy that was found by Will McClay. It's great. He's a great backup. He has that attitude. That's great. Whatever. That's great. He ain't no fucking starter. So if you put Matt Farniok up against Brock Hoffman and Farniok wins, Jerry's going to hype him up because he won the starting spot. And that's the point Mark's making. That's the point I'm making when it comes to this situation, right? So I don't know. I agree 100% what Mark is saying is what he is saying there. And that's why I brought up this Brock Hoffman thing. Because, I like Brock Hoffman. I made the mention yesterday. We might be looking at Brock Hoffman to start. And already you're seeing Jerry Jones and Stephen Jones. They're looking for Brock Hoffman to start. Or at least, push the Biadish contract because of Brock Hoffman. It kills me. Is that the one right there?
Yes,
Yeah,
it
that's
is.
there it is. Okay.
Hovsepian just came through with another.
That was it. I think you just read that one, baby.
No, it's another one.
Oh.
That's what I'm trying to tell you. It's another $5 holler.
You just read that one, though, my love. That's my point. But you can read it again if you like.
There we go. So, there it is, Mark. Thank you. Appreciate you. So, but yes, Jerry Jones, unfortunately...
Well, was it right? Yeah, okay, I was right. Yeah.
There you go. Okay, there's the other one. That's why.
There's
another one that was showing up on my side there.
It didn't show up yet on my side at all. So it looks like Mark is going to drop another 5 on it. It should come through. By the way, Big D to 27 points, which means he'll be at what? 22 Emmitt Smith points there in a minute?
Yeah, Mark Hovsepian's, chopping him down there.
Yeah, and he's going up this board. I know he just jumped over Big D, and he's now, I think, in second or third place here. So what did Mark say, baby?
Jerry Jones and coaches should call the players out. Hoffman is being talked about. It's only because Biadasz was hyped and not that great to begin with. Now Hoffman is hyped.
Mark knows. We've talked. It happens every fucking year.
You're 100% correct.
Every year this shit happens, guys. It's Mark and I have been going at this.
Martavis Bryant is gonna, save our season and fix our offense.
Yeah, we don't. What do we need? I'm just saying. I don't even want Stefon Diggs, but what do we need Stefon Diggs? We got Martavis Bryant. I'm just saying that's the kind of mindset from the front office, and the fans will delusionally buy into it. Unfortunately, that's why Mike McCarthy can say buy into us because he knows we'll eventually have to. I'm not, but. We're not, the family isn't here, but we understand why the majority of fans will buy into the fact of saying, oh, McCarthy's got this team in the right direction. I don't know about, we need to see it. I need to see it before we can believe it. I hear you, Mark. We agree with Mark, and Big D got those 22 points represented right now on the stream boss. But again, Mark Hovsepian, I'll fix that board in a minute. I did want to make a comment, though, and I want to ask another little side question here as we're discussing the Heights guys. A question was asked, Tony Pollard, his current estimated worth this year, according to Over the Cap, is $6.6 million. Remember, he got paid 10 this year.
Yeah.
$6.6 million a year. 85% of the fan base said, please move on. 15% said, sign him long term. Nah. I'm just curious, too, what you think on this, baby. Just your personal opinion on Pollard for $6.5 million.
I'm not opposed to signing him long term for a more reasonable deal. I don't know if $6.5 million is that deal. You get what I mean? Like at that point, Jerry, do your little cat magic. But I think it's pretty clear that Tony Pollard is not the answer. He can be a contributing factor. He can be one of our guys, but he cannot be the guy. And that has to also be reflected in his contract. So to me, it's more, will he take a slightly more team-friendly deal to stay with us another year or two, or will he go play a year or two, somewhere else for a little bit more money, but obviously not.
I think the Cowboys going to move
type of cushy Cowboy situation. See, to me, it does feel like the Cowboys are ready to completely move on from Pollard, though.
Yeah, and
I don't see the interest in our front office in repeating that experiment.
I mean, again, we're not going to use Pollard enough to make him worth $6.5 million, $6.6 million, 6.6. I think we can get it. We can get with that 6.6, maybe we can get ourselves a freaking cornerback, a third cornerback for this team that's going to be making, lock it down when you got Bland, Diggs back, and another corner for $6.5 million. Easily get a good guy at that position that can fill up that third, cornerback spot. Or you can put it in $2 million to a running back, draft a running back. You got Rico Dowdle, he'll be cheap. I'm just saying, I would not pay Tony Pollard $6.6 million to do what he got 1,000 yards. You know what? Probably almost any running back that we would utilize in this offense would have broken just around 800 yards to 1,000 yards. So I don't think we should. I don't say waste the money, but we can spend that in better places. I know we need different kind of running backs. I know we need I think a change is good. Going with the draft is always an option there because you get a good, solid running back in the third or fourth round. Why pay $6.5 million? Exactly. What does the chat think?
So, Pioneer said, we can't afford Pollard and a legitimate starter.
Boom.
Double R said, keep him. It's not his fault the O-line totally sucked this season, to be honest.
But if the
Mike Aldana saying, none of these players are good enough to be starters on our team. So we got the whole spectrum of opinions there. If
the O-line sucked and McCarthy didn't run the ball that much, why would you want to keep Pollard for another year here, paying him, $3.5 million less? That doesn't make any sense. I don't want to do that. No way. So, it's just I don't have a problem with Pollard. I like Pollard. It's just I think Tony Pollard is a guy that, we can move on from him. Not somebody else will pay him that $5.5 million dollars, and for that same money, we could bring in a solid power back. We can draft another guy and then use Rico Dowdle as our, backup to our starter. We have enough, I think, at running back in the McCarthy offense, which, yes, he's here next year. That'd be the way to go, in my opinion. Not go Derrick Henry and go crazy like that for the name or overpay for a running back in any way. I would not want to do that. That's just me. Mm-hmm. Remember, we talked about it yesterday. Running backs and linebackers, they're reliant. They're important, but they're reliant upon other positions. The offensive line has to be good for the running back to be good, and the scheme also. Linebackers, for them to be really good and effective, you got to have a good nose tackle, interior defensive line. So it's reliant on other positions. I'm not going to pay $6.5 million or $10 million for a position or a player that needs to be reliant on another group of positions, right, or another group of people. Anyways, Calvin Richard dropping the $5 holler here. He dropped that 5 on it. He's jumped on that board for the first time this new week.
Well, by the way, I think he just blocked out Mark Hosepian's $5 holler right before that as well. So thank you, Calvin Richard.
Another
thank
one?
you, Mark. Ooh. Appreciate you both. I'll go ahead and
hit them both up.
Calvin's comment saying, I'm afraid the Cowboys' best chance to make it to the Super Bowl just passed. If you can't make a run with this team, you can't even make it. You can't ever make it. Like this.
If this team can't do it, then which team will?
If this team can't do it, what team can? I don't know. The one that lives in our head rent free, I guess. Mark Hosepian, much love with his $5 holler. He said, don't blame Pollard. We signed all these coaches that changed the run scheme who were called experts at the run, and now they all remind me of Nolan.
Mike Nolan. Yeah. I mean, I'm not blaming Pollard. So I'm assuming, Mark, would Mark want to pay $6.5 million for Pollard to come back to the McCarthy offense, which you saw he was utilized? Poor or not poor? Or can we get someone that can do the same things for half the price, for $2 million to the $6 million, for a draft pick? Like drafting a guy. Again, you get a drafting guy. That's it. To me, that's the way I look at it. It's not anti-Pollard or what they changed or didn't change. I'm saying we can get a running back that can do the same things in this system that Pollard did for a lot cheaper. That's my opinion. Maybe I'm wrong. Hit me. I think Rico Dowdle can do a fine job as a kind of a shared back kind of situation if needed. As long as you don't fumble, I think he should have been used more, in my opinion, this year. In my opinion, I think we should have used them a lot more. Yeah. This is me.
So
much love to both Calvin Richard and Mark Hosepian, who I've got them all on the board and stuff. And by the way, Big D, 17 points. He's hanging on to that stream boss right now. Big D representing it here in my Cowboys family. So I think are we all caught up?
Yeah. Oh, sorry, no. Actually, we have one more.
Oh.
$5 holler. I apologize there. Thank you, Mark. A shout out to you, by the way, with his latest $5 holler.
Okay, with that, by the way, he jumps over Gloria. Gloria's still leading in the Cash app. But right now, Gloria goes to third on the overall board because Mark Hosepian is in second place, only led by JD from DC, who, of course, is our gifting leader, gifting champion, and currently repping the overall board here in front of Mark. And right now, Mark in front of Gloria in second place. Maybe he's trying to eventually get that sponsor of the week back to back like our '90s Cowboys. He's got that longest streak in our MCF history. What did Mark say with his comment, baby?
Oh, he said, Vaughn and Rico are not the answer. We left so many good running backs on the board and then picked up a bunch of dicks. We have so many holes, and Jerry Jones will pay Dak $60 million.
We're going to talk about that and Dak right now, literally. But, I think Rico is a good option for the Cowboys as a second guy, not as our, number one guy here, right? So I'm not saying I don't think, and I think Deuce Vaughn is unfortunately not looking very good, right? So I hear you. You're right on that. But I also think that, with the, like you just said, the $60 million from Dak and all that good stuff, you cannot afford to throw away $6 million or $6.5 million on a running back. I wouldn't even do that for Derrick Henry. Mark Hosepian, there it is. There's that Vaughn and Rico, not the answer. I'm with you on this. I agree with you on this. Rico is part of the answer in the sense of a backup running back. We need a power back of some sort, in my opinion, as well. and a number one kind of running back, which could be a rookie. In this year's draft, it's stocked full of running backs, and we can get a running back, a lot of different kinds of running backs, studs out there in that third, fourth round. You know what I'm saying? So I'm with you, Mark. I hear you. I am on the same page as you, brother. But yeah, I just, we got to manage things right with the contracts we have on the table right now. And we talk about, I want to talk about free agency for a second, Mark. I know you're going to like this. By the way, Big D dropped 12 points. That's a Roger Staubach right there on that board. But, when you look at Tony Pollard, so you're not using $6.5 million now on your cap to pay for Pollard, or, even if it's $5 million hit this year and you make a 2 or 3 year deal. Do I really want to give a deal to a guy who's going to be in his 8th year by the time his contract's up? The hell no is the answer, especially at running back. So I think we can save space on a re-signing of Tony Pollard. All right, we don't have to re-sign him. And how else can we help our contract situation, our cap space? Extensions, guys. Yes. First and foremost, the CeeDee Lamb extension. Ooh, let me get to that. CeeDee Lamb's extension. We'll talk about that in a minute, because these are saved. These is how you save cap space. But Marco Seppian dropping another $5 holler, said I'd pay him $3 million, just like Dak. I'd pay him. Oh, I'm sorry. Okay, let me go back so I can see it on the screen here. He said, I'd pay him $3 million, just like Dak. I'd pay him $50 million. Any more, and we are dumb. CJ, number 11, will ask. CD and number 11 will ask for $70 million a year combined. Too many holes to fill. Clowns. And again, Mark, I am with you on most of this. But you got to remember, when it comes to CeeDee Lamb's contract, and that's what I'm going to say here. If you right now, he'll be playing $17.9 million on the 5th-year option. And even if he gets $30 million for CeeDee Lamb, which is the expectation, the cap hit will go down this year for the Cowboys. I just want everybody, just because they're paying if we pay CeeDee Lamb an average of $30 million a year, and he's waiting for Justin Jefferson. If we pay him $30 million a year, then what happens? Well, yes, it eventually becomes like $35 million a year down the line on cap hit. But this year, it's like, $14 million. It's like $12 million. It could be down to $8 million on the cap if we extend CeeDee Lamb, which I think is something we have to do. He's that good. So that's, again, I don't know if that answers one of your questions, Mark, but then let me also go to another guy who we need to extend. And let me put it this way. Micah Parsons. He's in his now entering his 4th year. This means that he can now restructure and get not restructure, he can now search for an extension to his contract. And when it comes to Micah, we want this to be done as soon as possible. $35 million a year. I mean, you said it right there, $70 million. I'm looking more closer to like 65. But if Justin Jefferson signs first, it might be $70 million. Micah Parsons. If you want to get money this year and save cap space, you want this extension to happen immediately. Not just a CeeDee Lamb, which opens up cap room this year, but especially, like I said, $18 million goes down to $8 million. You open up $10 million by signing CeeDee Lamb for this season. You open up $10 million if you sign CeeDee Lamb to a contract extension, a big $30 million a year contract extension. What about Micah? If you sign him to a $35 million a year contract extension, you got to get that done now. You don't want to wait till next year when it's $40 million. But also, you got to remember, it makes no difference on the cap in 2024. Let's say we don't extend Micah this year. We wait till next year to extend them after his 4th year and he's in his 5th year contract. If we wait till next year to do that, he'll be now about 37, 40, 38, $40 million a year. And the cap hit for 2024 would have been the same either way. You don't extend Micah, guess what? Cap hit stays at wherever it is right now. If you do extend Micah, guess what happens this year? Cap hit stays the same. You feel me? I'm not saying it's going to go down. It doesn't affect the cap in 2024 if you sign Micah to a long-term I don't want to say long-term nowadays, like 4 or 5 years. So I'm just saying you sign Micah to a 4-year, 5-year contract. You sign CeeDee Lamb to a 4-year contract, and you just made over $10 million on the cap for this season. Yeah, in the future we got to pay off both these contracts. But Micah Parsons, if you're going to sign him negative, unless you don't want to keep Micah and you don't sign him, then you let his contract go, whatever. If that's what your plan is, okay, then you don't sign Micah Parsons. But outside of that, you want to keep Micah here, you sign him this year as soon as possible. That's just the facts of the situation. But there's one more guy, Mark, and everybody in the house, we got to talk about when it comes to a contract and extensions and options. And yes, you guessed it, we're finally here. Dak Prescott. Dak Prescott, we talked about saving $10, $11 million. But shit, that made me jump. Double R in the house with his monthly comment in the membership comment. Navy Blue Crew for 5 months. Double R said, "Go Cowboys," just being me. Cowboys need to keep all the cheerleaders. They played perfectly all season. They did. And they had their comments as well about what happened on the sideline of that Packer game. Yes. Appreciate you. Double R repping that Navy Blue Crew for 5 months. And all 50 people in the house, don't forget to hit the like, hit subscribe, hit that bell. They're 30,200 plus and growing, guys. So appreciate you all once again. I'll have some comments in the chat, by the way. Big D got 6 points on that stream, boss. He's hanging on with 6 on it. Trayvon Diggs 7. You rep that board up there, Big D. Will get pushed to the side. He's 4th overall. Gloria and Marco Seppian jumped him. I know Big D will be back, but I'm giving you guys the big updates on that side of things. So Dak Prescott, would the extension for Dak, even if it's $55 million, I know Mark only wants to go 50, but let's say it goes 55, 57, even 60. That all suck. It's got to be that high. But if we do extend Dak Prescott, which Mark is, even he, who's not a big Dak fan, agrees that we kind of got to do. He wants to just keep the extension numbers lower. $50 million, I don't think Dak's going to settle for 50. But if he goes 55, 57, the point is that's the realistic number. Still saves money on our contract hits on our cap this year. He's at $60 million right now, guys. And it would, again, any kind of extension would open up a lot of money for this year's cap. So I just talked about CeeDee Lamb opening up over $10 million in cap. We talked about getting Micah signed up here for the future, not even affecting this year's cap if we extend both of those guys. We get $10 million. Of course, there's cuts we can do, like Cooper Rush, LVE, that's like $5 million combined, right? The punter is $3 million. I know it's Brian Anger, but I'm just giving you the rundown here. That's another, $8 million within those 3 guys. A couple other guys we talked about releasing them, or Gallup, you release him, guess what? Now you got yourself another $10 million on top of that. So, again, you're building up here with CeeDee Lamb and these other moves. You're looking at like $30 million, almost $30 million combined of open cap space, and that's not including Dak's extension. If Dak gets extended, we open up probably another $40 million. Well, $30 million. Let's just call it $30 million is what we will open up. A little more. It's like $35 million on top of the $30 million. That's $65 million. We're 20 over the cap. We'd be 40 under the cap, more or less, with these moves and extension. That's keeping DeMarcus Lawrence. If we want to move him, that's another $10 million we save. So you got $50 million open. You want to go all in, this is how you do it. This is all we got left, whether we agree or disagree. But what would these moves do? Let me stay with free agency for a minute. Jerry Jones, would he go after, would Jerry Jones with open cap space, would he just keep that rolling over? He'll go bargain hunting, bottom of the barrel scraping, getting guys for $1 million and hoping they're starters, undrafted guys from other teams, hoping they're starters, blowing smoke up our ass? Or will he actually go for guys that'll make a difference? We talked about Mike Evans in the past. I think that's a pipe dream for the Cowboys. What about linebackers? I'm talking about the Bucs now because they have a whole list of free agents, and that's Mike Evans. But the main guys I'm looking at are linebackers Levante David and Devin White. Either guy would be an easy pickup for this. Linebackers are being undervalued. Beautiful. Let the linebackers be undervalued. Let's get Levante David in here. Let's get one of those guys. Devin White. One of those 2 guys. Bring them in for $8 million a year. Fuck. Come on. These are fucking superstar interior linemen that do the tackling, the dirty work, and that will help us, even though we still need to make sure we get that defensive tackle thing kind of, better, upgraded, Hankins and others. But then you would have a real linebacker there. Those guys are better than LVE. at that interior, tackling interior, run-stopping job, and they also good coverage linebacker. So that's what I would do with that money. What do you think the clown show going to do with that money, guys? They're going to get bottom of the barrel, guys. They're going to scrape the bottom of the barrel. I fucking hate to say it. Marco Sepien taking over the Stream Boss with a $10 holla right there, Cooper Rush style. He said Bill would have changed the culture. Bill Belichick would have changed the culture in Dallas. If Dak still does the same so-so things that we say then buy, we can't pay a quarterback top 5 money and get top 15 results. Can you ask Dak to be traded if he wants big money and develop a quarterback? Now you can only Dak is the only one that can be asked to be traded. Dak has. I'll explain in a minute, so I'll skip that for now, Mark. We'll tell you about Dak's contract in a moment to trade, but it's only up to Dak. It's not. The Cowboys cannot trade him unless Dak agrees. You can't ask him, "Can we trade you so we can develop Trey Lance?" That's not happening. So that's not happening. But I agree with Bill Belichick would have changed the culture. Bill Belichick would have made a bigger impact and a bigger difference for the Cowboys team now and for the near future. I agree with you 100% there. And listen, Dak is not giving us top 15 numbers. He's giving us top 10 numbers. This year, he got close to the top 5. But again, why can't Derek Carr against shitty teams put up top 10 numbers or top 5 numbers? Why can't most quarterbacks against shitty teams put up top 5 numbers like Dak did? So Dak still, Dak and the offense, with McCarthy's little help there, definitely got better, just not consistent enough. Consistency and the accountability. Big issues. It starts with a fucking clown show. Marco Sepien, another 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 on it as he's getting closer and closer to that top spot. He said, I don't mind extending Dak, but can we not overpay the guy? We paid Dak big money last time, and look what we got. I'd rather use the money we saved for elite guys. And that's the thing, though. Right now, because the clown show waited so long to get the Dak contract kind of done in the first place. We talked about this a little bit yesterday. Because of that, now we have to deal with the nonstop kind of kicking the can down that road when it comes to Dak Prescott and his contract. And it was known this was going to happen. Dak set it up this way, and you can't blame Dak Prescott for doing his thing there. So, Dak did the right move when it comes to setting up this big quarterback deal. And now it's something that you have to kind of keep the guy in the mix. Got to keep him in the mix, or we got to pay $60 million of dead cap money. That hurts balls. That hurts my nuts. By the way, and I wanted to say this, again, opening salary cap money. I just showed you guys how we can open up $30 million, and I'm going to talk about how we can open up another $30 million. Again, we can open up 40 with DeMarcus Lawrence and another 30 on top of that with Dak's contract extension. That's $70 million that we're 20 over. That'd be $50 million on the cap. You want to go for Levante David, a linebacker from the Bucs? He's a free agent. You want to go for a Devin White from the Bucs? He's a free agent. These are fantastic linebackers that can cover, stop the run, and play the edges, along with Damone Clark and Marquise Bell helping out. We got a crew building up that way. That's what I would. I'm just throwing it out there. I know Jerry Jones don't give a fuck, and he's not going to sign any of these guys. What about our cover story here? I don't even want to talk about it too much. The bottom left, the Diggs brothers. 7, Trayvon Diggs, but of course number 14, Stefon Diggs, having a lot of issues right now in Buffalo because he dropped that easy pass. A lot of people are complaining about that, and they want him out of there. He wants to be out of there, it sounds like. Will Stefon Diggs be traded to Dallas? There's an old interview he did last year that he said, I want to join my brother there. It'd be great to join him in Dallas. Of course it would be. Jerry Jones will stop packing that money for you. But he's $31 million hit for the Bills, and if he goes, it'll cost them a lot to get rid of him. Much love to Mark once again dropping that $5 holler on it. Again, I'm going to have to count this up because I think he's getting closer and closer and closer to first place on the overall board. And trying to take a hold of that sponsor of the week for our second straight week. And again, we're just starting a new week. Much love to Mark dropping that 5 on it. And with this 5, this is what Mr. Marco Sepien said. I said to make moves to save money, and with moves to sign elite guys. We got the money and did jack shit. I wanted to lose to make a culture change. We lost and kept Chubbs. Exactly. That's the thing that makes us cry, right? I don't want to lose. I did not want to lose, Mark. Maybe Mark wanted us to lose so we can get a change here. I didn't want to lose because I knew it would happen. I didn't want to lose because I support that star over everything, but I knew that losing wouldn't change a fucking thing. I mean, even I'm surprised that Mike McCarthy is still here after that disastrous coaching job in the playoffs and getting these guys not prepared. As a team, the coach has got to get these guys prepared, and McCarthy didn't do that. Head's got to roll. Hey, Mark talked about it yet last night about accountability. No accountability on this fucking team. From the front, from the top to the bottom. How did no heads roll after that Packers performance? That's a front office culture issue, and there's no way they're going to let Bill Belichick fix it. There is no way in hell Jerry Jones will let Bill Belichick fix our culture in Dallas. It's not surprising. It's not surprising. Now, Stefon Diggs, like I said, and I'll get right back to it. Stefon Diggs, guys, there's no money to get him here. The wife said it earlier. How are we going to get the money to pay that contract? Now, there is dead cap money for the bills they got to pay. His contract can be restructured, and things can happen. You'd have to trade draft picks. We don't have draft capital. We got 5 picks this year. They love their picks. We might get a 6th or 7th one because of compensatory picks. We're going to have 5 picks in the 6th and 7th round and 3 picks the rest of the draft. So we can't trade picks away to get Stefon Diggs. But yet, even with all this shit, right? Like I said, last year, Stefon Diggs talked to during the Super Bowl week, talking to reporters. They were asking him, wouldn't you want to be a Cowboy and play with your brother there, Trayvon Diggs, number 7? And Stefon Diggs said, quote, "It is a goal of mine." That was last year. Now he's really pissed in Buffalo. He wants to leave. Even the odds makers are asking, where will Stefon Diggs play game 1 of the 2024 season, if not with the Buffalo Bills? And number 1, well, let me start at the bottom. Number 5 is the Baltimore Ravens at 950-1 with the Kansas City Chiefs, same numbers. 3rd, the New York Giants and the Detroit Lions, both 400-1 odds. Stefon Diggs will be playing with those teams. But 200-1 odds, the Dallas Cowboys, the number 1 team option right now, where by the odds makers, where Stefon Diggs will be playing his first game this year in 2024 season. I don't believe it. I don't think it's going to happen. And I'd rather save that money not for Tony Pollard. I'd rather save that money and get an elite linebacker like Levante David or Devin White. That's all. Look them up if you don't believe me. They're Bucs linebackers. They're solid, more than solid. They're fan-fucking-tastic. Spend the money on those guys. That's the kind of guys you want to bring in this team. Anyways, it really depends on who's our defensive coordinator, right? So, you guys got me rolling tonight, man. Again, appreciate all the thoughts and all the comments here, guys. Again, I will be finishing up here with my Dak Prescott, kind of breakdown on this. I'm going to try to do it quick because we're going to break down his contract, I'm sure, a lot this offseason. But if you look right now, the FedEx Air Player of the Year, there's 3 candidates. That means the best quarterback of the year. And right now, with basically 6 days to go and like 60,000 votes, Tua has 28% of the votes. Brock Purdy has 32% of the votes. And Dak Prescott has 40% of the votes. According to the FedEx Player of the Year, Air Player of the Year, Dak is the best quarterback as of right now in the NFL. Now, again, this means really nothing. It's just another award, another thing. That's great, and I'm happy, but we know we fell short of it. And it's not just on Dak. It's on the entire team, offense, front office, coaching, and Dak Prescott. So let's just talk about it real quick. I want you guys to hear me well here. All you guys in the house, please let me know if you have any thoughts, to catch my attention as I roll through here. But I want to make sure we touch on the truth about Dak's contract and what are the options out of this. When you look at his contract, what are the basics of the contract? 2024 is going to be his final year currently on Dak Prescott's contract that he's under contract for. All right? He has 2 more years, 2025 and 26, which are voidable, dead, dummy years. It's just pushing dead money to those years, which you already have pushed money there. 2024 right now, his salary for the year is $34 million, which is broken down as $5 million earned on March 17th. He gets another $29 million earned during the regular season. That's how he gets paid. But his cap charge, the cap hit, he's not getting $60 million, but that's how much we have to pay on the cap. $60 million, $59.455 million. That is the second highest cap charge in the NFL next season. None of that salary is guaranteed. So, what does that mean? Well, Can he be cut? Can Dak Prescott be cut? If for some crazy reason the Cowboys wanted to release or cut Dak Prescott, it would be extremely costly. He would need to be released before the roster bonus is due. And even then, the Cowboys will have to account for $61.915 million in salary cap hits. Right now, we estimate the Cowboys, we're about $20 million over the cap, which makes it very difficult to then add another $61.9 million. It would be the Buccaneers. It would be us doing the Buccaneers with a much worse front office. And the Buccaneers at least made it to the second round of the divisional fucking playoffs. Now, my guess is that the Cowboys are going to opt on June 1st, for Prescott, basically to opt them for a restructure on June 1st. Again, let me put it this way. If the Cowboys want to cut him, if the Cowboys are right, we're going to cut Dak Prescott, which they're not. But let's say they were, and take this $62 million cap additional hit on top of the $20 million. We're over the cap already. The Cowboys will have to opt to cut him on a June 1st cut. If we were going to cut him, because Dak has dummy years in his contract. All right, they can still use a June 1st designation, even though it is Dak Prescott's final contract year. The Cowboys in this scenario would carry Dak at his $59.455 million hit this year until June 2nd. At that point, it would drop from $60 million hit this year to $25.455 million in 2024. And he would leave the team still with $36.46 million on the cap hit in 2025. This would give the Cowboys the room needed to sign draft picks and function in the regular season. But in all reality, this would make a very little sense for the Cowboys to release Dak Prescott. We're not really saving that much. $25 million, yeah, that's great. His cap hit would go from 60 to 25, but the other $36 million will be paid next year. We're dead next year. So it makes no sense when you can just extend them and basically do the same thing and even be less of an issue when you have to pay the piper in the future. It would just make a little bit less of an issue in the future for us at the same cap hits. And you got Dak playing for your team. He wouldn't be playing at all under these numbers. These cap hits would be without Dak Prescott on the team for 2 years while we're paying over $60 million. So, again, it would be idiotic for the Cowboys to release Dak Prescott in any single way. And a lot of this is because of the way the contract is designed. Pretty much most contracts are designed this way for quarterbacks. The top 15 quarterbacks got contracts like this. So every quarterback has these things. Now, what about trade options? There's no tradable option, guys, because these top quarterback contracts have given quarterbacks, Dak Prescott included, the no trade clause. So Dak cannot be traded unless he releases or says, okay, you can drop my no trade clause. Then the Cowboys can trade Dak Prescott to a team that he wants to be traded to. Obviously, Dak would have to agree to the trade, right? So a no trade clause in his contract. The only way Dak gets traded, if he goes, okay, I want to go to the New York Jets, so I will accept this trade. That would be the only way. And that scenario, the Cowboys would still have. If we trade Dak Prescott, a lot of people want him out of here. They can't want to cut him because you don't want to lose all that money. But guess what would happen if we traded him? We'd have to take on the $62 million in dead cap money this entire season. So cutting Dak Prescott would make more sense than trading Dak Prescott, at least money-wise. Now, of course, trading Dak Prescott, you're going to be getting a lot of draft picks, a lot of players and stuff. So I guess that's a good thing. You're still paying $62 million on your cap. We'd be $82 million over the cap. Even though we got a shitload of rookies and new players or whatever it may be, we would have $82 million eaten up already over the cap. I don't even know how I guess we can get $50 million off. So we'll still be, with all the moves I said, extending Micah and CeeDee Lamb, cutting a couple guys, cutting Michael Gallup and DeMarcus Lawrence, and then we'd be $20 million still over the cap. So if you're going to go that route and get rid of Dak through a trade, and he agrees to the trade, you might as well, money-wise, cap-wise, you might as well just release him. Either way, it's a stupid choice. Trading him, if he wants to be traded, which he has to be on Dak, it would be a stupid choice because we would have to eat up $62 million. If we cut him, we have to eat up $62 million in 2 years. What about franchise tag to control his contract? Maybe we get some leverage back, right? The Cowboy front office get some leverage. Well, guess what? Dak cannot be franchise tagged in 2025. Again, the big money contracts for quarterbacks across the NFL. Put in there, every single one of these have a no tag provision. You cannot be franchise or transition tagged in 2025. Unable to, illegal to, on the contract. It is a blanket no tag, agreement that covers every possible tag the Cowboys could use on him. If he's not extended prior to that voided date mentioned, earlier tonight, which would make him a free agent. So the maximum return on a player lost in free agency, we let him go in free agency, we get a third-round draft pick for him. That would be a guarantee. We get a third-round comp pick back in the 2026 draft at best if we let him go. Let his contract play out, and he's a free agent, gets picked up by somebody else, we get a third-round comp pick, which is basically an early fourth-round pick. Trash. Dak's contract will void on the last day of the 2024 league year, which is sometime in the middle of March 2025. If that happens, the Cowboys will. If the Cowboys let his contract end, and again, he gets to the end of his contract next year, 2025, middle of March 2025. If that happens, the Cowboys still have to get a hit of $36.46 million in 2025 next year. If we let his contract run out, we're going to pay $37 million for a guy who's not taking a snap with us in 2025. So, what are the options left? Of course, we talked about running the contract out, trading him, cutting him, can't tag him, So, do we have to extend Dak Prescott? That sounds like the only option we have. We don't have to. We don't have to extend Dak. But the Cowboys should extend Dak Prescott because it would help the Cowboys basically get the most we can get for this upcoming season in 2024 with the put up or shut up year for this entire organization and this current team we see with the players on this team. All right. Again, if the Cowboys were considering a reset, they're going to wait one more year. They're not going to, they were going to reset. That's why they kept McCarthy. That's why they're willing to keep Dan Quinn. That's why we'd have to extend Dak Prescott. The point is, we would have to wait this season, right? Put up or shut up. Dak would have to have a great season again, like he just did, right? In 2024, don't have to extend Dak Prescott, right? If the Cowboys don't like what we see at the end of 2024, in that 2-month period before the new league year, in 2025, in March 17th, let's say, 2025. At that point, we have a chance, a couple months, to sign Dak Prescott. But a reset would mean a new coach, probably a new quarterback like Trey Lance in 2025. Dealing with the salary cap fallout from Dak Prescott's situation at $36 million lost, right, in his void years. So if Dallas is considering this as an option, it probably makes sense for the Cowboys to either draft a quarterback in the first or second round or really show development with Trey Lance if they want to have any leverage in the upcoming 2025 season. And that, I'm telling you right now, that ain't going to happen. Trey Lance is our quarterback draft pick, and I don't know how much, he's not good enough to even beat Cooper Rush. So odds are the Cowboys are going to have to further restructure Dak's contract, and that's what's going to happen this year no matter what. We will restructure Dak's contract this year for cap relief, which only increases the dead money in 2025. All right, it makes it more difficult for the Cowboys to deal with the salary cap fallout. So if we restructure Dak Prescott this year, like I said earlier before we even started talking about this, talked about CeeDee Lamb and restructure and getting him an extension. Talked about extending Micah Parsons, how both these things help our team going forward, opening up cap space. If we restructure Dak Prescott's contract, Dak has no choice in this. The Cowboys just say, yeah, do it. It just makes it harder for you to get rid of Dak Prescott next year. It's already difficult next year it'd be stupid to get rid of him next year with the cap hits. So it just makes it even that much more difficult. If we had restructured Michael Gallup's contract, we could not get out of Michael Gallup's contract this upcoming season. The fact that we didn't touch his contract means that we can get out of that contract with minimal cap hit. Same thing with Dak, although minimum cap hit for Dak is $36 million. That's the problem. So, again, pushing money forward, that means next year his cap hit will probably be like $70 million if we restructure his contract. Which, if we restructure Dak's contract, you have to extend Dak Prescott at that point. after the restructure. Look, if we restructure his cap hit, we restructure Dak's contract this year, we get $26 million on the cap. Boom. He only hits us for $26 million instead of $60. So we open up $35 million on Dak's restructure. Moving $35 million to next year, it's $60 million next year on dead cap hit. So it's a lot of money lost next year if we restructure him and don't extend him. But at least we have a chance to see what he does this year. So I think no matter what, we restructure Dak's contract, opens up $35 million. You sign these other players on our team. You get a couple free agents. I'm hoping a linebacker I just mentioned from the Bucs, one of those two guys. But you can't get rid of Dak in the future, or else you're going to eat up $60 and $80 million. So Dak, if the Cowboys want to extend Dak Prescott, probably have to reevaluate some of the things we're doing with roster building. I don't know if I trust the clown show to do anything here. When you look at the magnitude of the contract, the Cowboys probably should put all the chips into this fucking season here in 2024 and even 2025 when it comes to the salary cap and the way it's structured, and begin taking more risks in free agency to improve the overall roster. I think Mark said it earlier. I'm reiterating that. Getting good, I don't want to call guys elite, but getting top players like Levante David or Devin White at their position. I think that's the smart move. That's called a little risk taking there, Jerry Jones. Push it a little bit because we have 2 years to fully push all our chips in and go all in. And after that, well, it's going to be tough to kind of rebuild. We're going to have to take a cap hit from Dak's contract down in 3 or 4 years from now again. And it's going to get bigger and bigger, even though we're getting more money on the cap. So if the Cowboys are going to extend them, no matter what circumstance, if we extend Dak Prescott, we may as well do it in February. I'm not joking. Extend Dak Prescott this February. You restructure him, then you can let him play out the season and sign him, or you can just extend him. Might as well do it in February. This will allow the Cowboys to roll the existing $34 million salary into part of what would be called a guaranteed package, which also maximizes whatever cap benefits you may have 5 years later to prorate that money. You can throw it into dead money. You can throw it into years that we're not going to have him on the team. And that will then it might be over 2 years. We might have to throw in there $30 million a year dead money, $60 million total in 2 years. But by then, the salary cap limit will be $100 million bigger than it is now. So you can absorb it a lot better then than right now. You're going down. You're going down hard. So that's why if you get a 5-year deal, the last 2 years are just dead money, avoidable years. That'll be the best way of kind of pushing this forward. Waiting another year, just for the sake of waiting, is pointless. If the Cowboys are honestly thinking about splitting with Dak Prescott and want to see how things play out and wait, that's fine. But the last time the Cowboys said they're going to wait, it cost us a lot, and they had no other options. The Cowboys paid themselves into a corner on purpose. They did it to themselves. They let Dak take over the leverage, and he still has the leverage. So right now, the Cowboys, last time this happened, we tagged him. He played a few games, broke his ankle, broke his leg, and then the Cowboys gave him a huge contract anyways. The way we did with Gallup, the way we did with Terrence Steele. So again, there's no point to wait unless the Cowboys feel that Dak will never agree to like a 5-year contract, which of course he would with dummy years or dead years at the end. So just to finish this up, guys, I'm done wasting your time. I don't know if you even care about hearing me talk about this, but most of us, I think, would agree either draft a quarterback or develop Trey Lance just as a backup, right? As a backup, not to take over Dak. You got to also restructure Dak Prescott's contract. Now, again, if the Cowboys are ready to leave Dak in the dust, you do not restructure the contract. But I believe the Cowboys will probably, if they show the restructure, they're going to keep Dak Prescott here. You restructure him only as needed, but you can also restructure him as many times as you want. Whenever you need cap room, you hit the button, you boom. Every year you can restructure and push the money down and break it down more so you keep a chance alive to make a move and actually spend the fucking money you're saving, not just roll it over and roll it over and roll it over. So, again, you got to see how this year goes. And that's a good way of kind of rolling over that the restructure money and pushing it forward and kind of going all in again if you have to. There's also a good chance that if we fuck up again another year, McCarthy's contract is over, we'll have a new head coach in 2025. And even though Jerry Jones is not going to change as being the GM. He's going to be the GM is going to be Jerry Jones no matter what, unless he dies. I'd rather have a new coaching, a new coach on the team with new input of what the quarterback situation can be, rather than forcing a new, just forcing a quarterback on him. At least he can dictate, okay, do we stay with Dak or not stay with Dak if you wait to 2025 or 2026 with a new with a new coach. So while the prospect of not having a veteran quarterback is scary, the odds are going to be even scarier. Well, I'm just saying, if you don't have a veteran quarterback, that's the scariest it could be. Let's be real about that. But the odds are more in your favor of winning, especially in the long term, with an affordable quarterback than an aging above average quarterback, that, again, will earn more than anyone else in the league. So this really comes down to a real big, to me, it's a decision you make for the Cowboys. I'm going to be real here. I would rather restructure Dak, push some of the money forward, sign him to a deal that's going to give him a couple more years here and lower the cap hit. When we change the coach, and it will be probably changed, let him decide what to do from that point on. With a new coach, a new system, a new thought process. That's all. That's all I can say about that, as Forrest Gump used to say. So, yeah, guys, it hurts to say this is a situation that will happen when you don't win a Super Bowl. It's going to happen with Josh Allen. It's going to happen with a couple other guys out there that are getting paid the big bucks and aren't able to win, and get to, the Super Bowl and win a Super Bowl. So we'll see what happens. Let me go back here. The wife did have to go to sleep, guys. Again, this is one of those nights she had to sneak out here because she is exhausted and she has an early day tomorrow. So she said, "Go Cowboys," as she was leaving here. During my long soliloquy here about Dak Prescott, I'm going to do the shout-outs and also get the comments from you guys. Chappelle Hannon in the house. Appreciate you. Of course, the man Marco Seppi, I'm going to tally up the numbers here in a minute. Mike Aldana, he said Rico is injury-prone. That is a good comment there with the hip issues he's had. JB2 said all in all, this team front office is stupid. Can't disagree there. I disagree with getting Saquon Barkley, Chappelle Hannon, unless he's going to go $4 million a year. I do it for that, maybe. JB2 in the house. Mike Aldana said CD and Parsons contracts will be coming out of Dak's money. Like I said, guys, CD Lamb opens up more room. Micah Parsons' contract stays the same. Dak's contract only would hurt us going forward if we don't extend them. CD can walk, said JB2. Asmodeus said, didn't Micah campaign for Mozzie? That really blew up in his face. Yeah, Asmodeus, that's true. But also, keep in mind, Mozzie Smith was made to lose 35 pounds to get off the line of scrimmage faster and be a pass rusher. I don't think that Micah was cheering for that. You know what I mean? So, JB said, give Dak 35. That will never happen. And again, if we let him walk, it's going to cost us $60 million with no Dak Prescott on the team. Much love, again, Marco Seppi with his drops of love. I'll be shouting that out in a minute. JB's like, I'm done with being loyal to players who can't do what they're asked to do. And he's saying, CD, we could walk away fast. Pioneer said, Dan Orlovsky proved the Dak biased hatred is real with his Josh Allen defense. Exactly. This happens all the time, unfortunately. Michael Down said, the clown shot a chance to sign Dak at $30 million a year back in 2018, guys. Do you remember that, Mike? Yep. And look where we're at now. This was the front office failure here. Imagine paying a reindeer $60 million, says JB. Thomas Garrett says, you get a Levante David or Devin White, that'll free up Parsons to move around the defense. These two brothers are terrors. Exactly. Thank you, Thomas Garrett. Those are the guys I'm looking. I just gave a quick glance. I'm not even looking at free agency yet. A quick glance. One of those two guys will not be, both of those guys probably won't be on the Bucs. Pick one of them up. I agree 1,000%. We'll talk. I'm sure you'll see me pushing for one of these two guys later in the offseason when the free agency stuff starts to become a little more viable, right? So, I don't know, JB, Trey Lance couldn't even be developed to pass up Cooper Rush. Keep that in mind. As Mojo said, you better get rid of that kind of production. You can't get rid of that kind of, because being a diva dropped a few passes. Yeah, I agree with Asmodeus. You do not let CeeDee Lamb go, so I disagree with JB on that. You guys discussed that. House Nelson in the house. He said, bring in the talent, always looking for more players to resent. But to more players to resent. The thing is, House, we need to bring in real talent, not subpar bottom of the barrel talent and then hype it up like they're starters. That's the problem. So bring in Lavonte David and Devin White. Those are high level players, high level linebackers that do a job better than any of our linebackers on our team can do right now. And that includes what is his name, Overshown. That includes LVE. It includes everybody. Damone Clark and Marquise Bell. Lavonte David or Devin White are better than both those guys at linebacker for what we need them to do. Trust me on that. So, yeah, Diggs, I hear JB, House Nelson, Asmodeus. In the house, you guys have a nice little discussion going down there. Mike Aldana, of course. Matt Battenback here. Yeah, appreciate you, Matt. Always much love to everybody in the house here who's jumping back in and out and discussing the Cowboys. Daniel Pineda said Dak needs to take a massive pay cut. He doesn't deserve it. But the thing is, that's not going to happen. No pay cuts are happening. There's no pay cuts or pay increases when a player like Dak in the beginning of his years outplayed his contract. We don't just give him money that year, right? So he earned that money, and, that's the way it goes on these quarterback contracts. Pioneer said next season will be a repeat of the last three. And that's my fear. That is my fear. Michael Allen said, Clown Show will handcuff Mike McCarthy knowing he's fighting for his job security. Yep, well, they think they're actually doing something good by motivating McCarthy somehow in this whole process. Daniel Pineda said, another first-round exit unless we get Derrick Henry. I don't think, number one, even if we got him, I don't think he's the answer. But I also think that the Cowboys front office will never go for a Derrick Henry. House knows MCF, you can dress the Niners and Ravens in our Cowboy uniforms, and they would suddenly look like this is their first time seeing a football. It feels like it sometimes, right, House? Whew, I don't know what happened, Pioneer. CeeDee Lamb in that game. I've been saying it the whole time I saw that situation, the first half. I thought he was on a tranquilizer of some sort. I don't know. Too much weed. I don't know. Checking out, crying. I don't know. So House doesn't said, fuck that. Don't restructure. If we don't restructure, $60 million. I'm curious here. Pioneer says agree to restructure the contract. House doesn't want to restructure it. Pioneer says yes, restructure it. Michael Dana said Dak will play himself out of Dallas by the time he gets to another significant contract. But that decision has to be made this offseason or at the very latest, one more year. And we got 2 months to rush a contract. That's it, Mike. That's all we got. Daniel said if they extend them, don't expect to win anything. It's not just on Dak. Pioneer said it's too cost prohibitive to cut Dak. Exactly. JB don't like it. Sad situation, but that's the facts. That's what I'm trying to say. I'm trying to give you guys the facts, whether you like it or hate it, or you agree or think it could maybe still work out. I think it'll still work out with Dak. I just don't. You have to manage the money properly. If the front office never fucked up in the beginning with the contract, this contract wouldn't be so big. That's just the facts of the situation. JB said Trey Lance is trash. Yep. House Nelson said it would cost us $100 million. I don't give a shit. So House Nelson's done with Dak, and that's a way. Again, you know it. The Bucs played on I think they had $80 million of dead money, the Buccaneers, and they still got the divisional round. Think about that. So House says I'm fed up with the regular season bullshit leads to nothing. But guess what, House Nelson? If we go with, let's just say we go with Trey Lance or a rookie. Cowboys are going to end up being, 6, 7 wins, 8 and 9. 8 and 9 will be our record, maybe at best. So we ain't going to make the playoffs even. They're going to have a chance. Although I agree with you, going to the playoffs and looking like embarrassing pieces of shit is the worst option of all. Daniel Pineda said we need at least one solid veteran linebacker take over, and that's what I'm saying. Lavonte David, Devin White. One of those guys would be fantastic to help Damone Clark, Marquise Bell, and DeMarvion Overshown, because I don't think LVE is coming back. Damone Clark is average, but it would be better if he wasn't the number one guy. You know what I mean? If Damone Clark's our number 2, and Marquise Bell comes in on third downs, while you have Lavonte David running the show, I'm happy as can be. And our defense will be better, although we still need to stop the run. These guys could do a good job, but you got to get the linemen on the defensive front have to be set better. Pioneer said, I feel the frustration, but we, the fans, get slapped around by the clown. And, the clown show. Clark can go, said Pioneer. Well, he's entering his third year. He's got another this year and one more year to go. So he ain't going anywhere, Pioneer. JB2 said, Henry would definitely be a good pickup, but how much would it cost? Jerry Jones won't pay for that. And how will Mike McCarthy start using Derrick Henry, or are we going to start throwing for second and third downs again? which is fine to an extent. I have no problem with that, but then we're wasting our money on Derrick Henry. Feel me? Anyways, guys, there's a shout out. It's all done. Appreciate every single one of you guys who dropped in here, dropping the knowledge. Of course, those that dropped the love from above. Not many, but you guys definitely rocked it tonight. And I'm gonna go from last night with McLovin dropping some love in the PayPal. You got Gloria dropping a 30 total in the PayPal. I'm gonna tell her right now, she's in the lead still on the PayPal side of things. On the Cash App side, you got Big D dropping a thanks in a $20 holler in the thanks button side of things. Then we got Jason Renfro dropping a little bit of love and of course gifting a membership here. We got Marco Sepp. We got JD from DC dropping 10 gifted memberships tonight, taking the lead in the gifting side of things, and it was in first place on the overall board. But let me just check something here. Yeah, Marco Seppian. I'm going to fix the board right now. With his drops tonight, our sponsor of the week is still the leader on the overall board once again. Out of nowhere, Marco Seppian, who was like, and I remember when he was on the board in our, 8th place on this board, literally earlier 2 hours ago. Mark went all the way now into first place. JD from DC, right behind him though, not far, in second overall. Gloria in third, Big D in fourth, McLovin in fifth, Jason Renfro in sixth, Calvin Richard in seventh. Gifting leader this week. The champion is JD from DC. Last week, he had gifted 5. He's already gifted 10 this week, and he's in first place. Jason Renfro in second place with 1. It's 10-1 in the first quarter of the game. Marco Seppian, not just our sponsor of the week, not just the leader this week, also the king, the stream boss. Let me put it that way. He's the king of the stream. He's the stream boss. Much love. He's got 100 full points. He's fully loaded. Top of the board there. Much love to the man from Hawaii, all-time sponsor of the week, record holder, 15 weeks in a row. Marco Seppian, who's just starting a new streak and trying to go back-to-back like our 90s Cowboys. So much love to him. Much love to JD from DC on the gifting membership board. Can't ask for more when it comes to returning the love. The best way of returning the love to the family, to the channel, that's one of the best ways of doing it. The different ways in the Cash App, because you got the king of the Cash App, Mr. Jason Renfro. Much love to him. He's got 20 weeks in a row, 5 months of domination in the Cash App. That's the all-time record. Hey, he's starting a new streak. Will he go back-to-back like our 90s Cowboys? Well, so far he's dropped a little bit in there in the Cash App side. I think no Cash App drops for him yet, but we had drops in there from McLovin in the PayPal side, which counts as Cash App, and of course in first place in the Cash App through the PayPal, Gloria. She's in first place on the Cash App King side. Oh, she might be the Cash App Queen if she holds it down. Much love to Gloria. Now tonight, as we wrap it up here, appreciate everybody again in the house, and that like, subscribe, and that notification bell. There will be a little bit of MCF After Dark in about an hour from now. I know, it's late, but in about an hour from now, do a search, a YouTube search for MCF After Dark. Yep, I said it. You guys, again, some of you guys don't want to be part of that. Probably it's a little bit different. It's a panel. There's discussions. There's not just football. It's mainly life topics. Sometimes politics gets involved, or different kinds of thought processes. So everything goes over there on our backup channel. It's not a backup channel. It's a fun channel. It's a channel not about building up subscribers or anything, just a discussion channel. So it's different. It's called MCF After Dark because it's after this show. We go real late, obviously, and it's just usually me. The wife will jump on there once in a while. Those streams are just one-time viewings at all times. I do want to talk about a couple different topics on there that's not Cowboy related. So if you guys have an open mind and want to jump in there, we already got 20, 30, 40 people that jump in there all the time, even if it's 3, 4, 5, 6 in the morning. So we have great discussions. Have an open mind. Let's have some fun. If you want to jump in there, search for it. MCF After Dark. I think I already got a whole stream set up at 3:30 a.m. Yeah, guys. Coming at you. So make sure you definitely try to join us for that if you're awake or working somewhere or in the West Coast, or you're in the Hawaii. Even after Dark's always watching. So yeah, you see him right there in the house. Make sure you subscribe to the channel, and if you do subscribe, keep the notifications on to that channel, because tonight we are going live, or I am going live to bullshit a little bit, listen to some music. Sometimes we have some drinks. We definitely have some panels, interesting discussions and topics. And I try not to advertise it, but tonight I just wanted to say, come on down if you guys are interested to hearing something different. Just for, something a little different. If it's too much, if it's too crazy for you, then unsubscribe. You don't have to watch it. It's a one-time viewing and you can't rewind it. There's no DVR option here, so enjoy it while it's on, right? Yep, Pioneer. I don't know if you guys are ready for it, but we'll take everybody on there, all the different you could be any kind of political mindset, any kind of religious mindset or non-religious mindset. You could be any kind of thought process you want. There's been nobody I block or stop from speaking their mind, but every single stream is deleted. That's it. And I don't care about pushing it for subscribers. None of that shit. It don't matter there. We're just having fun over there. A whole different kind of show. And yes, we have the cameras on. Yes, we talk about it. Yes, we have a panel. And we get into it. Language can get crazy over there. So, again, brace yourselves. Outside of that, guys, have a good night. Seriously, and stay safe out there. We will be back. Tomorrow we cannot go live. Again, I said Tuesdays and Fridays are really tough for us for the next month or two. So just keep that in mind. Just happened to work out with the Cowboy season ending, but scheduling situations make it more difficult. So, you might catch us after dark on a Tuesday or Friday night late, but we are going live tonight, or I guess you could say early morning Tuesday after dark, and we'll keep bringing the Cowboy. We'll be back on Wednesday right here on this channel, My Cowboys Family, our main channel, our real channel here, 30,000 plus family members, subscribers. You guys are awesome here. So, yeah. Yeah, it is like a Fight Club Pioneer. Essentially, join us over there. You'll see. But the thing is this. Remember, I'm an insomniac, so this gives me something to just blab about late in the night, early in the morning. So I get my 3-4 hours of sleep a day, and I try to function. Work life, family life, the MCF life. That's how it goes. So in the off season, I'm gonna let the wife take a little bit more of a breather, especially for the later stuff, and we'll just have fun here with all Insomniac MCF. It'll be fun. Guys, thank you again. Matt in the house, Pioneer, House Nelson, JB, Mike Aldana, Daniel Pineda. Who else? Did I miss anybody here? Of course, the people that dropped the love in the house. Big D, Jason Renfro, Mark Hosepian, JD from DC, McLovin, Gloria. And so you any kind of love or money, support that you guys give on the other channel, the After Dark channel, that's why you see Gloria and McLovin, because they dropped the love over there. So that all translates back to My Cowboys Family. If we have a raffles, it translates back to it. It all comes back to this board here. The overall board is for all of our channels. So keep that in mind as well. Anyways, guys, have a great night. Stay safe out there. Appreciate all you guys that are hanging with this star that sometimes is very embarrassing not because of us or the fans or it's because of the clown show. So hopefully we can overcome them and not just have that got 5. We got to get that 6 and beyond. Guys, join us on Wednesday for our next MCF, My Cowboys Family live stream as this show comes to a close here tonight. As the wife would remind you usually, but I'll remind you tonight. Why do we do this here on MCF every single night, time after time, good, bad, and ugly? Why do we do this here? It's about that navy blue, that silver too, and that star over everything, guys. Win, lose, or draw, good, bad, or ugly. 6.5 years here on YouTube. We're still rolling, trucking on. We rep that star over everything. Yes, 6+ years and beyond. Here on My Cowboys Family. Never forget the number one thing here, now, and forever. As always, no Cowboys! Eventually, let's get that fucking 6 and beyond. And let's not let the 9... Please, San Francisco, do not get that 6, please. That's all I'm asking. For this rest of the season, that's all I want. I don't care about nothing else this year, except the Niners do not win the Super Bowl. I don't care if the Chiefs win it. I don't care if the Lions win it. I don't care if the Ravens win it. But just don't let the fucking Niners win it. That's all I'm asking. That's all I'm asking. All right. Wife and I will be back on Wednesday for more, guys. Thank you for dropping your knowledge in the chat all night long. All night. Enjoy whatever you're doing now, guys. If you're up, you want to check it out, come on over. Check out After Dark Pioneer. We'll be there for you. It's up and running right now. If you want to drop a little message or hello, you can see it, subscribe, and we'll see you a little later, about an hour from now. Guys, thank you again for chilling here, dropping the knowledge in the chat, dropping the love from above. We appreciate all the support and love from you guys. Cannot do this without you on the nightly for 6.5 years and beyond. But now it is time to get on out of here, clock on out, drop on out for the night, and relock and reload for another show on Wednesday. And we can talk more Cowboy football, guys. Before we can drop out of here for the night, as the wife always says, before we can drop out of here for the night, we got to drop the beat. Oh, yeah, beat's been dropped. It's a wrap here on My Cowboys Family. It's a wrap. And we just did another Cowboys chat. Yeah, it's done, guys. We talked about Dak and that big contract that we're going to have to see an extension coming for, or take a huge salary cap hit of $60 million plus. So think about that. Of course, the Pollard question, we discussed it. The Stefon Diggs situation, we discussed it. Don't get too happy. Jerry's always watching. He's always watching. Anyways, he's watching, but he ain't doing sometimes. That's one of the bigger problems. That's part of the clown show. But here, on this show, here on another Cowboys chat, on MCF, it's about that navy blue. That silver, too. And that star over everything, always over everything. Never forget the number one thing right here on our channel. The number one thing right here on My Cowboys Family. Much love to everyone in the house. Don't forget to hit that like for the stream. Subscribe to the channel. Keep it growing. Hit that notification bell so you know we're going live. And, of course, follow us on Twitter, X, all social media at My Cowboys Family. Jump in the Discord as well. And we'll see you tomorrow for another one. Have a great night. Stay safe. Peace. And never, ever, ever forget. Go Cowboys!
Monk on the beat.